Michael Page, who obviously used to compete in point karate tournaments all over the country back when he was a youngster growing up in England. He will be back in England this Saturday, going up against the legend Carlos Condit, the aforementioned Carlos Condit. Who saw this coming? Condit versus MVP on Saturday afternoon. That's primetime stuff. We'll be talking to Michael Page about that at 2:30. So I am looking forward to that very much. And I do want to give you guys an update. Two things I wanted to tell you. Number one, happy anniversary to the Rumble in the Jungle. 50 years ago today, October 30th, 1974, one of the most famous boxing matches of all time. Muhammad Ali, George Foreman. In fact, we've got the sign right over there. Can you see it? If you go maybe to the Skype shot. Oh, boom. You see that? It's right there. Foreman, Ali. Oh, yeah. You see it right over there, the poster. One of the most iconic fights in the history of the sweet science. And our good friend, the best in the business, if you ask me, Chuck Mindenhall, has an amazing feature up right now on uncrowned.com. He spoke to Jerry Eisenberg, legendary journalist, about his time covering that fight, his time covering Muhammad Ali. It's a phenomenal trip down memory lane. Mindenhall, Eisenberg coming together. Go to uncrowned.com to read all about that. It's a tremendous, tremendous read. I do want to give you an update on our Tamagotchi. Came to the car yesterday, saw it. There was poop all over the gaff. It was on the ground. It was shouting for Clairsy. I was panicking. I fed it. Didn't really help. It didn't get it up. Like it's lying down, like kicking its feet. Put it in the bath, cleaned it, took it to the bathroom. The poop disappeared, but we can't get it back up. It's still on the ground. We invited a friend over. We went for a walk. Every time she goes back in, I don't know what's wrong. So if anyone has any advice as to how to fix this issue, how to make the Tamagotchi feel better, I would appreciate it. It's getting a little stressful, if I'm being honest. It's getting stressful. I get to the car and it's crying for help. We did leave it with a sitter while I'm at work and she's at school.
Who's the sitter?
I don't know. I just picked it from the menu. And
they have like virtual sitters.
Yes.
You didn't want to take care of it for her while you're at work.
No, I can't. I'm busy.
Wow.
I'm busy. So let's see. Maybe the sitter will brighten its spirits. We do have to get to our first guest of the day. Very excited to talk to this young man. We spoke to him a few months ago after his very first MMA fight. He was successful, 1-0 now. He is a phenom when it comes to all things jiu-jitsu. He then competed at the very first CJI event. He was successful in that endeavor as well. He was supposed to compete in September. That didn't pan out, but he is returning to action on November 8th. That's next Friday in Bangkok, Thailand at 169 against Ahmed Mushtaba, his second MMA fight. He is someone that everyone is very excited about as he continues to make his transition from the world of jiu-jitsu to the world of mixed martial arts. We're talking to Kade Ruotolo, who is kind enough to join us right off the bat. There he is, our old pal. Hello, Kade. How are you?
What's going on, boss? I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. By the way, are you familiar with the Tamagotchis? I know you're not big on the tech stuff, but maybe you can help me out. You're young.
I'm literally over here on Google right now. I'm like, what is Tamagotchi? like trying to figure it out. Wait, fill me in. I'm new.
It's like a little thing and it's a pet and you actually have to take care of this pet. And if you neglect it, it will poop everywhere. It will cry and then it will eventually die. Like it's teaching kids how to actually take care of a living, breathing thing. It's not just a toy that you can just put away. So a lot of hard lessons being learned over here.
I hear that. That's crazy.
Yes.
Very
go get one yourself and see how it is, and perhaps
I might have to.
Well, great to talk to you, my man. Before you head out to Thailand for your second MMA fight, I do want to ask you about a ton of things. But first, you were supposed to compete in September, and I think you're battling a labrum issue, perhaps two labrum issues, which we heard about with Sean O'Malley. He had to go under the knife. Is that why you didn't fight against Musumeci back in September?
Yeah, more or less. You know how it is in the sport that we do. If it's not one thing, it's another. So yeah, just that's been the battle this year. Just trying to keep my body as healthy as possible. Same thing with my brother, and dealing with the labrums. Trying to keep it on the low, but it's pretty much out there now. So yeah, I got a torn labrum in each hip, but I fought that last competition on it, and it doesn't feel good, but you got to do what you got to do.
So, and by the way, I hope you don't feel like I was blowing your spot. I've seen interviews where you talked about it, so I hope that that's okay. Um,
Yeah, no worries.
O'Malley did go under the knife, and I heard you say that you're debating. You can treat it, I think stem cells, things like this, or you could go under the knife. At what point, like, do you think it's inevitable you'll have to go under the knife, and why not get it over with now as opposed to later?
Yeah, I've talked to a couple different people who've done the same injuries, and it's funny because the two people told me to do two completely different things. So I'm
Oh,
kind of torn between both. Someone was telling me just get the surgery now. It's a year recovery or whatever it is, but just get it done now and you won't have to get it done later. And then another person was telling me, because mine are just partial tears, that, with stem cells and just resting it, recovery, PT, you'll be able to get that hip, like new again. So obviously, if I can, not take that year off, that would be amazing. So that's kind of where I'm trying to lean towards right now, as long as it doesn't tear all the way through.
how much pain are you in when you compete?
It's just certain positions, So if I'm just like, in place in my stance, whatever, I'm not really feeling it. It's just certain, when my hip starts to do like weird angles, things like that. That's when I really start to feel it. If I felt like it was hindering to a point where it was gonna to really hinder my performance, I probably wouldn't be taking the match. It's been getting better and better and better. If it was like 3 weeks ago, I definitely would have been fighting. But with every day, I got a strong team around me as far as chiropractors, PTs, all that. So every day it's getting better.
Is this just like a wear and tear thing from all the years of jujitsu?
I reckon so. I've always had pretty stiff hips. I think jiu-jitsu, that's one of the first things it targets is your hips. And aside from that, my last MMA fight, I was throwing a lot of kicks, and I think I did my right labrum tear probably right before my last fight. Because there's about 3-4 days, a week and a half before that fight where I couldn't even walk. It was pretty rough. So
Wow.
yeah.
Have you ever had surgery?
Never. That's also why I'm
Uh,
I'm trying. I don't know how I've gone this far without it. So I'm knocking on wood over here, but yeah, trying to keep that going.
since we last spoke, it was actually on the show. The day the day you came on, the news came out that you were going to go the CJI route and not the ADCC route. And since you have competed and you were successful, you won the $1 million. And so congratulations on that. What was the experience like, and how would you compare it to your experience in the world of ADCC?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. The main difference really just, all the lights, the crowd, all that kind of, it always feels the same. The main difference I would say was that pit right there. Competing in that pit for the first time was definitely a heck of an experience. And my brother and I, honestly, I got 1 hour drilling session in a pit, half a pit. But beside that, we basically gotten zero training. My brother had gotten zero training in the pit. So our first time being in there was competing in there really. So it was definitely a learning curve, and how much different it is to like a regular wall was definitely a big learning curve for us. But yeah, extremely relieved to get the win, and super stoked. My hips weren't stoked on me for sure, but
Oh
we got
man.
it done.
And so, like, what were the adjustments that you had to make or had to learn about when comparing the pit to just regular mats?
I'd say the main thing is, like a cage or even a ring, there's more so of like a 90-degree angle. So whenever you're getting pushed upon it, it's
Mm.
easy to stay upright. With that pit, if you have any sort of backward momentum, if you're pressing your opponent forward, there's almost, unless they jump onto the wall and try something off of it, there's almost no way to stay upright. So you pretty much end up just falling over, and it makes it for that. If you kind of just beeline it towards your opponent, it's very difficult to stay upright if you're running into that wall. So it's just a variable, and also getting up, it's so much more difficult, right? When you have a 90-degree angle, you kind of back your back up to it and work up the wall. With that pit though, the 45, if you're against that wall, you're not getting up, unless you maybe find a way into that little corner groove. So a lot of little tweaks that are a lot different than a 90-degree for sure.
Overall, in terms of the production, the event, just how it all ran, how would you compare it to ADCC? First time for them, there was a lot of attention, same weekend, same city, head to
Right.
head. Craig's a big troll. He's poking the bear. How was the experience?
It was amazing. One thing that when you're talking like jiu-jitsu competitions, of course, because it's obviously never going to be as exciting as something like MMA, right? The one thing I always try to take away is the crowd's reactions, and the 2022 ADCC. That's why it was a really special moment for me. The crowd is going crazy. It was really it was really cool to see the fans digesting what they're watching, But I felt the same thing here at this last CJI. You hear all the hoots and hollers, people screaming. They're all day events, from morning till afternoon, So for people's attention spans to be actually entertained for that long of a period of time is, they're doing something right.
Of course, you made history at that 2022 event, just 19 years young, becoming the youngest ADCC champion. Was it weird for you to be in the same city, same weekend, and not competing at ADCC?
For sure, for sure. It was definitely like a bittersweet thing. ADCC's been around since the 90s, since before I was born, right? And it's always held the most prestige. So mentally I'm always kind of prepared. All right, every 2 years we have ADCC. This time around, obviously the $1 million opportunity came up. It was nothing personal against ADCC. It was just, anyone in their right minds is gonna go after that million, right? So it's just what we had to do, and sent it.
He's talking about doing it again next year, perhaps. Are you interested? If you're healthy, are you interested in sticking with this and not jumping back over to the ADCC side of things?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, if I had to be honest, I definitely would do it again. Like I said, nothing against ADCC, but anytime you follow the money, I feel like it grows a sport in the long run. You get competitors, you get guys that are like, okay, maybe I'm going to do $1 million division now, and it just brings more money, more attention into the sport, and it brings bigger players as far as like a platform. So I think in the long run, it's good for the sport, and obviously for the winner's bank account, it's even better, right? So the next one, if it comes around, if he's going to do it next year, I'll be there. If he's going to do it the year after, I'll be there as well.
Did you feel like, I'm sure you talked to some of the other competitors, do they all feel the same? Do you feel like there's something to this? And you probably heard Mojassem, resigning. Craig says he was fired. Who knows? Do you think that was related to the success that they had back in August?
Right. To be entirely honest with you, I haven't been super up to date with all the the back and forths and everything. I know there is some dramas, this and that. Craig and Mo talking about MMA fight. Oh, we're gonna have an MMA fight. All this crazy stuff. So hey, I'll definitely be front row watching it. I think it'd be very entertaining. But as far as the whole drama thing, I haven't really looked too far into it. I usually stay way out the mix as far as when it comes up to those type of things. I went to go message Mo the other day, and I could tell he's not very stoked on me because he wasn't following me anymore. So I'm like, Mo, no.
Man.
But I'm sure it's it's pretty funny. But at the end of the day, I think people get kind of, the athletes have to look out for their best interest, and sometimes people might get butthurt along the way. But it is what it is. We got to do what's best for our families, for our lives, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. And obviously, like, there's so much attention going on this feud, but I just think this is great for jiu-jitsu, right? I mean, the fact that people are talking about it, that there's a rivalry, it's probably great for the whole sport, regardless of which route you go. Do you agree?
I couldn't agree more. ADCC, that's the thing. It's not going to go anywhere. It's been around since the 90s. It's one of the most prestigious grappling tournaments out there, if not the most. So as long as I really think the only other competitor is CJI as far as, someone that could take the quality of athletes over. And the only reason why is because of the prize purse. I think every high level athlete's kind of, they could look at that million like, okay, I need that,
How is your brother doing? We showed the photo there. He had the big brace on his knee. How is he feeling?
Yeah, he's good. Every day he's feeling better. He just got some stem cells in his knee, so I think he's starting to turn a corner there. It was definitely a pretty rough injury. He tore like the majority of ligaments in his knee. I think one of the only ones he didn't tear was like his ACL, thankfully. But
Wow.
yeah, MCL, meniscus, whatever, PCL, all these different ligaments. So it was definitely a rough injury, and he's just been on the back burner, just recovering and just resting.
Is there any, not that you should have, but I'm just curious, as his brother, I know you guys are so close and you seem to have such a great relationship. I'm just curious if there's any kind of guilt at all. You get to compete, you get to do your thing, you get to, advance your career, and he is still kind of stuck, nursing this. He'll get back in there relatively soon, but do you feel, as his bro, do you feel any type of guilt as you're going out there and competing in multiple events and he has to be on the sidelines?
That's a thousand. That's why I said that, winning $1 million obviously is, financially the biggest purse I've ever won, and CGI one of the biggest tournaments I've ever won. But when it comes up to, the moments that like feel the best to me, when I reflect, it's not really CGI. It's more so like the Who's Number One. When my brother and I, we first got the titles, it was our first big chunk of money. I think we both won like 30K. We got the titles on the same night. We both won. You know, like winning alongside my brother, those are the ones that are so much more memorable, that leave much more of like an impression on my mind compared to when I have a success single-handedly. You know, obviously it feels good, and you know, it still reflects upon the family and things like that. But whenever you're winning alongside your brother, it feels so much better, you know. So yeah, I kind of made sure this is going to be my last MMA fight for the rest of the year. I'm going to stay recovering with him, and then next year we'll both come in strong.
Considering you know, what happened in September, having to withdraw, and considering you're still battling, you know, through these labrum issues, was there any part of you that thought maybe let me take the rest of the year off and not even have this MMA fight?
It definitely crossed through my mind a couple of times. I won't lie to you, but you know what also crossed through my mind was right after CJI, was like the weekend after, was that Mikey Musumeci match, right? And that was so, it felt like a train hit me. I was so blown out. I had to pull out of that one and reschedule that for next year. So, you know, I was like, I can't pull out back to back. There's just no way, you know. And this is something that's kind of been in the works since the beginning of the year, right? So I was just like, you know, just got to suck it up, get this last one done, try to finish him fast, and then you know, focus on next year.
Was one upset when you had to withdraw?
Of course, they weren't stoked. You know, it was something, you know, Chachi knew how big of a, for the jiu-jitsu community, how big of a match that one was. You know, it surprised even myself. I thought it would be a cool matchup, but there were so many people thinking like, oh, this is going to be the craziest matchup I ever could have thought of. And I was really surprised to see all that feedback. You know, people were saying, oh, I think this matchup could change jiu-jitsu. I was like, there's a lot of hype on it, you know, so I was obviously super bummed to have to pull out, you know, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting that one next year. Would have loved to run it back this year again, maybe even, but I think Mikey's he's injured himself too, going through some health problems. So next year when we're both healthy, we'll get that match going again for everybody.
You guys are huge stars, and you're very likable, and you're very unique, and you're people that are like, it's very easy to follow along and be drawn to you and be emotionally invested in your story and his story. He's a unique guy with a unique character in his own right. So I'm not surprised. I am wondering though, as you mentioned that, and you also mentioned, you know, sending or trying to send Mo a message. Are you still doing the no phone stuff, or very little social media, very little phone? We talked about that. I was very impressed with your ability to stay off, especially as a youngster. Are you still successful in that regard?
It's I was saying it last week. It's like, that's why my manager hates me. I finally called him yesterday. I was like, after all day, he tried to get a hold of me. I was, you know, training, doing whatever priorities. He's like, bro, tomorrow, Ariel Helwani, just please be there. I'm like, of course. Yeah, you know, I've just been trying my best to stay off of it, and that's just, it keeps me the happiest, keeps me the most focused. And yeah, that's the way. Like this past UFC card, I didn't even know Max and Ilya were fighting until like the day of. I forgot, you know. I was like, oh my gosh, that's tonight.
Wow.
You know, I'm just so slow to punch on everything, but it keeps me very present in life for sure.
I love that. This opponent that you're fighting next Friday, Ahmed Mushtaba, is a lot more accomplished than your first opponent, right? He has almost 15 pro fights. Your first opponent, Blake Cooper, 4. This seems like a step up in terms of competition. He's competed against the likes of Sage Northcutt in the past as well. Did you know about him? Had you heard of him? And obviously now you've probably done a bit of research. What do you think of him after learning about him?
Yeah, you know, the only time I've seen him fight in person was that Sage Northcutt fight. I was there in Denver for that card. You know, I know he's got a solid straight right down the middle and a decent uppercut. You know, he's knocked a couple people out on the one platform. You know, I'm definitely not taking him lightly. I think he's a brown belt on the ground. So, you know, he's got some weariness when it comes up to jiu-jitsu, but you know, I think his strengths are going to lie on keeping it on the feet and trying to knock me out. You know, I think that's going to be his best bet. With that being said, you know, I've watched a little bit of film, not too much, a couple of matches. You know, I like to see what my opponents are good at, but I don't like to, you know, watch it too much and become obsessed with what they're good at, because I'm more focused about what I'm going to hit in there, right? So just like to see what he's good at, is his main 2 or 3 punches, and yeah, ready for him.
Are you still training with the great Erik Paulson?
That's right. Yes, sir. So probably headed down there tonight. Just Erik Paulson and Tyler Wombles, you know, my 2 main coaches for MMA, and I'm super, super pleased, super happy with them.
And you know, the first time we talked about how you're so successful in MMA, and that was even before the Craig Jones Invitational, where, you know, like, people in your position sometimes don't want to go to MMA. They don't want to get punched. And it seemed like you had a genuine passion for mixed martial arts. You told us about your grandfather, who was a big fan, who introduced you to it, and who probably wouldn't be too happy with you fighting, but would obviously be supporting you because he introduced you to all of this. And I saw an interview with you and MMA Junkie recently where you said that you were kind of like for lack of a better word, and correct me if I'm wrong, sort of struggling with what your legacy would be in martial arts. And then you found God, and through that process, it really made it crystal clear in your mind that MMA was the way to go. Is that an accurate summary? I know it's probably a lot deeper than that, and I'd love to ask you about that, of kind of what happened earlier this year.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's crazy because my brother and I both kind of in the same. We always find everything together. It's the trippiest thing. But yeah, at the beginning of this year, obviously I hadn't made my MMA debut yet. Was just a full jiu-jitsu guy. Even though I loved fighting, I loved martial arts. As far as what I was accomplished was just all jiu-jitsu, and I had all these upcoming tournaments, right? The CJI possibly, or ADCC, whatever it may have been, super fights, all these things, and I was super excited to go knock all of it out. But at the same time, too, I was really just sitting there thinking back as far as, when I'm done with all of this, what do I want my legacy to be known as? You know what I mean? There's so many fighters, guys, for me, like one of my favorite guys who just left an unreal legacy was Nate Diaz always. I just love the way that, I love the way he fought. He's, however many top 10 guys he's fought and put on just, performance of the nights. And I was just really thinking about a legacy standpoint. What I want to be known for? And for me, I wanted to be known for not just being a jiu-jitsu guy, but being, one of the best martial artists of all time. I was a big fan of Cejudo for the fact he went from wrestling to MMA, and if you could accomplish all these different things, I think it's amazing, so that's really my goal now is, I feel like I've climbed to the top of the mountain in jiu-jitsu, and I've been holding it down right there. And I feel like, MMA is a whole separate mountain to climb, but I know I have the capabilities and the abilities to do so. And that's what I want to do.
I guess I'm wondering, at 21, and that's how old you are right now, correct? There aren't a lot of 21-year-olds, young men, who are thinking about their legacy. They're just kind of, as you say, in the moment. And I understand there's a difference between thinking about your legacy and being on your phone, but why are you even worried about that? Why are you thinking about that? Why are you, as opposed to being like, what can I do this month, this week, this year? Why do you feel like you needed to search for what your ultimate legacy is going to be in martial arts?
Because it was something, like I said, beginning of this year that I'd never really even thought about, but I feel like the way I've always operated is I always, sounds cringy or whatever, but like in a sense where you shoot for the moon and maybe you'll land on a star, right? Every single one of my goals is as high as possible. I didn't start doing jiu-jitsu every day to become top 10 in jiu-jitsu. I did that to become the best in the world at jiu-jitsu for my weight. And I feel like the most humble way possible, I've kind of, climbed that mountain in jiu-jitsu. So now it's just to do so in MMA. I think more so about just the legacy. I really do believe I can be the best. If I feel like I can be the best, I'm going to get there. If I felt like I could be the best in surfing, I tried in surfing. I'm just realistic with myself. I'm not going to get there. But, I really do genuinely believe that I can get to the number one spot in MMA, and I'm going to get there.
Do you think there will be a point in time where you will just completely leave jiu-jitsu and go all in on MMA?
I don't think there'll be a time where I completely ever leave jiu-jitsu, but when we're getting to a time where we're, getting closer to fighting for the title, probably just put jiu-jitsu on the back burner a little bit as far as competitions. I definitely want to stay training jiu-jitsu the same way I've always trained jiu-jitsu. It's the A game when it comes up to my game, right? My go-to. So I never want to lose that, the essence of what I'm known for, what I have, my best part of me. But at the same time, I definitely know that, as we start getting closer to the title and things like that, it's going to be really taking everything I have in the MMA realm, So definitely want to keep training jiu-jitsu, of course, to complement my MMA. But as far as competing jiu-jitsu, maybe just once a year, the biggest ADCC or CJI or whatever that may be.
Not to look past November 8th, but have you already set like what your goals, what your schedule will be like come 2025? What you like by the end of 25, where do you want to be?
Just undefeated in MMA. That's the main thing. I just want to keep the fights coming, and I just want to keep knocking them down. That's my goal. I've said it before in past interviews, in the most humble way possible. I'm very mentally strong, So if you were to, ask me, how do you think you do against the guy that has the belt now and whatever platform at my weight, I truly believe that I would finish him. It's just what I believe, it's all humbleness, aside.
Yeah,
it's just,
I love it.
It's just what I honestly believe, So, my goal is just to keep knocking them down until we get there, really. So that's what next year is going to be all about.
I love it. I freaking love it. I love the confidence. I love the self-belief. And just curious, I know some people may not like to talk about this, and if you're the same, all good. But when you say like, you found God, you found religion. What does that mean? How do you incorporate that into your life now?
Absolutely. Well, at first, like kind of going back to that first question you asked, it gave me a lot of clarity in a sense. Remember where I was saying I just didn't really exactly know if I wanted to, be the best jiu-jitsu guy or start MMA or even, start, become I've always had the Olympic gold wrestling medal on my mind. It sounds crazy. It
Wow.
sounds crazy. I've always had, these different goals in my mind. So I was really just kind of lost. And so that, finding God, I felt like gave me a lot of clarity in a sense where, why not do everything, and take it step by step, time at a time again. And whenever you're feeling the most beaten down, the most roughed up, that's when you should really start giving the most hope. And I feel like whenever I was feeling the most down, beaten up, it was when I had the least hope, you know what I mean? And so with that kind of my whole mindset changing in that regard, and then also knowing that it doesn't really matter the result, whether it is a win or loss, at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect the things that actually matter in life. It's just a result. That really helped me a lot too, because, at the end of the day, all that matters is family, the man up above and things like that. So really, I just feel like I'm not really fighting for myself anymore. I'm more so fighting for the people around me. And it just takes a lot of the pressure out of it, I feel like.
Are you saying 2028 Olympics? We're going for wrestling? LA?
You never know. I talk to my brother about it all the time. My brother and I, we like to talk about it because, we've dabbled in wrestling, little high school wrestling classes growing up. We feel like we have very strong wrestling. We could wrestle with very, high level wrestlers, and we've never focused on it, So we were like, man, imagine if we focused on wrestling for like 2 years straight. I feel like we could
Wow.
wrestle, and it sounds crazy, I know, but we've had some solid wrestling scraps with some high level guys, and like I don't think I can, could wrestle that level anytime soon, but with, a lot of time given to it and dedicated to it, I think anything in the martial arts world, I think we could really honestly accomplish almost anything that we put our minds to. We're still so young. We have nothing but time,
I've always wondered, why isn't jiu-jitsu in the Olympics? And you would know better than I. Is there any type of push to make it happen?
It's a great question, and there's all these sports that are in the Olympics, and then jiu-jitsu's not in there,
Some
right?
wacky sports, man. I was there. Break dancing this summer. Like, come on. How's that in there and not 3-on-3 basketball? Like we got flag football coming in 2028. We've had ballroom dancing. How is jiu-jitsu not in there?
It's pretty crazy. We got gymnastics with balls, like they're doing gymnastics, like bouncy ball.
Rhythmic.
I'm like, sport? I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it's crazy. Not to throw shame on the bouncy ball gymnasts, but yeah, it's wild that it's not in the Olympics yet. And I think the main reason, there's gi jiu-jitsu, there's no gi jiu-jitsu, right? And there's rule sets within each side of that, gi and no gi, right? And it's different rule sets. So there's not just one. It's not like MMA where there's, for the most part, just one rule set and 3 or 5 rounds. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different variables. And so I think deciding which one would be ran in the Olympics is the hard part. Which one's the most exciting? Which one's the most digestible for viewers? And also, the judges. There's just so many different variables that I think that's the reason it hasn't quite made it. I think it's also our job to make it exciting, because it's easy for a jiu-jitsu match to be boring if 2 guys they're too worried about the win rather than making the match exciting, This last CJI, I think that's what made CJI kind of really blow up, and almost every match was exciting. My semifinal match with Andrew Tackett, people were trying to claim was like, oh, probably the most exciting jiu-jitsu match ever. And I thought that was a super cool claim, because I remember I have a match that I view as the most exciting to me, and I'll forever respect those guys because of it, and so it's really cool to be a part of a match like that. And I think those are the matches we need for it to bring into the Olympics, There's all these comments, man, my brother hates jiu-jitsu and he was watching that match like this,
Wow.
If we more matches like that on the big leagues and on the big platforms, I think that's really what's going to help push it into mainstream.
By the way, your favorite or your most exciting match, the one you just referred to, what is it?
Yeah, so it's a way older match than Nikki. You guys have to do some deep dive. It's probably it's all pixelated on YouTube, but it was Ricardo Vieira versus Robson Mora, and they're 2 legends, and it was in the gi, but it was just nonstop action and submission attempts, and just at the time the highest levels of jiu-jitsu just colliding. And I think what made that match special is both of them, aside from wanting the win, they wanted to finish each other. They really wanted to not just win, they really wanted to finish each other. And I don't even think that match ended up in a finish, if I remember correctly, but just the intent of, submission after submission and attack after attack. You just had nothing but respect for the guys, and those are the matches that I love to watch. And even those are the matches that I love to be a part of,
What year is that? Is it like 80s or 90s?
Extremely old. Yeah, it's probably in the 90s or early 2000s.
Okay, all right. Don't tell me what happens. No spoilers. I'm going to look it up and enjoy it. Okay? I'm getting into it. By the way, are you familiar with Michael Venom Page?
Of course.
MVP, the man, known for his striking. I don't know if you know this. You probably don't because you're off, everything. He's competing in his first grappling match this weekend, this Saturday, against the legend Carlos Condit, which kind of came out of nowhere. A middleweight bout for Polaris 30 in England. He's on the show later today, and I'm just wondering, we could play this for him. Any advice, great guy to great guy, any advice to impart upon Michael Venom Page as he enters his first grappling match?
First of all, props, because that's awesome for a striker of that level to hop into a jiu-jitsu match. I think is super, super dope. As far as what advice, he's fighting Carlos Condit. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Carlos as well. That's a crazy jiu-jitsu match. I really don't even know how that's going to turn out. But if I had to give him one stick of advice, man, follow the wrist. A lot of wrist control. Everything in jiu-jitsu almost spirals from the hands, right? So if you could kind of track down the wrist, a lot of the time that negates 50% of their attacks and could also set up a lot of yours. So if I just had to give one little smidget of advice, track the wrist, follow the wrist.
Okay, love that. And we're going to play it for him, so I'm sure he'll appreciate that. Last thing, your first MMA fight, RNC, what are you thinking this time? We're going to get that Ruotolo style, I believe. That's yours, right? That submission move. Are we going to see that?
We'll rock with that. If that's what you guys want to see, then we'll rock with that.
That would be sick. That's like your variation of the Darce choke. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, very much so. It's different, but same, but different.
What's the difference?
It's more so like an arm triangle, but on the side of the neck. So it's like the arm is in the same position that a Darce would be, but the grip would be as if I went arm triangle and then flip to the side of his body. So I'm now, instead of attacking like this way, the pressure's coming on the side of the neck.
Wow.
Right? So it kind of this. It's really, I didn't even call it the Ruotolo team at first. I forgot who first initially said that. I remember we're live and we're like, what do you call that? I'm like, I really don't know. What's the name for it? And was it you, Ward? It was either my manager, my brother, someone goes, Ruotolo team. And I'm like, all right, Ruotolo team. And I was like, that sounds conceited. I don't even know why.
No, I love it. I love it.
What it is, yeah.
All right, so we'll look out for that. November 8th in Bangkok. A pleasure, man. Really enjoyed talking to you. Wish you all the best. Congrats on the big win back in August for CJI, the $1 million, all that stuff. Well, it's actually, I think it's 1,010,001, right? Because you got 10,001 to
before
show
taxes.
Right, exactly. Let's not get crazy. And good luck next Friday. We'll be watching. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Ariel. I appreciate having me on, and great catching up again.
Yes,
see
sir.
You guys soon.
Yes, sir. There he is. The young man, Kade Ruotolo, the phenom, if you will, doing big things in the world of jiu-jitsu, but also now in the world of MMA. You can watch 169 next Friday, November 8th, from Bangkok, live on Amazon Prime Sport, which is a very easy app. There it is to navigate. It's included with your Prime subscription in U.S. and Canada only. Speaking of my good friends over at Amazon Prime, did you guys happen to see the new series, Game 7, which just dropped? I'm featured in one of the episodes as a quote-unquote basketball journalist, talking all about the 2006 second round Game 7 showdown between the Dallas Mavericks and San Antonio Spurs. Anyone catch that?
I'm alpha.
Yeah. You know yourself, Rampage. You know yourself. Yeah. Great stuff. What a great energy that young man has. And hopefully the torn labrums won't hold him back. 21. I mean, he's been through the ringer. His body's been through the ringer. He is the youngest ADCC winner ever. 19. Imagine doing that 19. Imagine thinking about your legacy at 21. Sheesh. We'll talk to MVP in about an hour's time. Mike Malott. And then, of course, Boots Ennis. But, my friends, it's time to shoot. You know we like to shoot on Wednesdays, Frank, right? You know that, right?
Absolutely do I know that.
Yeah. Let's get to the questions now. Time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is time
everyone stop chatting shit.
That's the new
That is
on the nose
I
music.
mean, it's perfect. It's
Exactly.
actually, it's actually quite perfect. Here we go. Well, let me open this up here. Thank you to everyone who sent in the questions via ArielHelwani.substack.com.
I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't slap quite as hard without the whole song.
Dun,
and
dun, dun,
dance.
dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. How's the so I mean I noticed that you did
The beatboxing for
you did like custom music for the
No,
boys in the back.
I actually got that from an artist who remains anonymous to this day, but maybe I can ask them if they'll do something for you.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. That'd be very nice. Here we go. Here's Echo. Hello, Ariel and crew. Back in January, I said Ilya had everything it takes to be the star of the UFC, and down the road will be in the GOAT conversation. I don't think he loses to any of the potential challengers anytime soon. Honestly, I think he beats Lopez, Sterling, Evloev, Murphy, Allen, and dominates the Volk rematch. By the way, a lot of people saying that I mispronounced Volk. Am I saying it like Volk, like yoke? Should it be Volk?
Volk,
yeah.
Volkanovski, not
For sure,
Volkanovski.
So you actually pronounce, because it's Alex.
Volkanovski.
You say Volkanovski?
What do you say? Volkanovski?
Alex Volkan. Yeah, I don't know why Volk. Why do I say Volkanovski?
You're reading it like yoke,
yeah.
but it's Volk.
So it should be Volk, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You might be the only one.
Yeah, I get that a lot. You're saying it wrong.
Tuesday?
Yeah, well, that one too. I guess I say a lot of things wrong. They say I say Juan, like Juan, not one.
Oh, one. Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Got
Do you
it.
say Juan Championship?
No.
No, one. No, I say
You're
like
saying it like in the
this man
context
won.
of win or lose.
Yeah.
You're saying, yeah, it's definitely one.
No, speaking of which, P.T. Carroll had a win or learn moment earlier today.
Shout out Pizzi. Let's go.
I love a winner learn moment. Makes us all better.
Look
Shout
at
out John
that
Kavanagh.
beard.
The beard is just so fucking.
When did you start growing this beard out,
When
man?
he
I feel
got
like
on
this is the first time I saw
Uncrowned.
it.
He stopped caring.
Just the day we started, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to bed. No, I'm joking. Yeah, it was pretty much around the starting time
Nah,
of
it
this. Though, yeah.
fits. It's so
I
good.
was
'cause-
turning heel, wasn't I?
No, yeah, well, I suggested that, and I wondered. I did confront you, but it's amazing. We're 3 weeks into this endeavor, and I had 5 weeks on my board. The answer is actually 3 weeks. I was waiting when we'd get the text from PT being like, "You guys need me today?" I knew it was coming at some point. Like he already wants out. I just thought he was a fixture. Like I would never get a text
You
from Eric. Like,
confused me.
You need me today? I would never get that text.
Your message confused me. It was 12:30 last night. You know what I mean? You want me to remember all
No,
this
it's
stuff?
actually-
Unbelievable. Do
actually-
you want an interesting fact?
Clocks came back, so it was 11:30. No problem. Go ahead.
Interesting fact?
Yeah.
Hobson Moore v. Ricardo Vieira referred to by Kade there.
Yes.
I've actually trained with Hobson Moore a number of times. He's
What?
been in Blanchardstown. Yes.
Back in the
No-
day
no
when you used to
bullshit.
compete.
That was it. He's friends with my old coach, Paul Fox, and he used to come and stay in Blanchardstown. And the match with Ricardo Vieira happened
spoilers.
in 2001 that he's
Okay.
talking about. Yeah.
Is it legendary? Is it tremendous?
Brilliant. It's a gi match, so I mean the no gi people probably won't enjoy it too much, but it's brilliant.
Yeah,
The
I think
classics.
Kate is a no-gi guy, and he loves it, so
He competes in the gi and the no gi, I believe.
sure. But CJI was no-gi. I know this. I'm a jiu-jitsu aficionado. By the way, speaking of interesting facts, did you know that the candy apple was actually created by accident?
Don't know what a candy apple is, mate.
Yeah, in fact, it was William W. Kolb of Newark, New Jersey, a confectioner who is credited with inventing the first candy apple. In 1908, the candy maker supposedly dipped an apple into a cinnamon glaze as an experiment and discovered that patrons loved them.
There you
You've
are.
exposed yourself, I feel like, because you've read the fact from the Yahoo bathroom,
Yes.
but that doesn't sound like an accident. That just sounds like he tried something and it worked. You know, like they called it
I was
an
thinking
accident.
that too.
It's like, no,
Listen,
he
I'm just-
tried
what
some-
do you-
I
what
know.
spirit-
How am I
exposed
exposing myself?
yourself by
I'm
just
literally
reading
reading it verbatim. I'm
know, that's
literally.
the
I know,
problem.
but it feels like you didn't read it beforehand because like you
The
would've-
title
it's the
says
same thing.
candied apple. If I'm
not
being
an
honest,
accident.
was washing my hands. I saw all these
Washing
factoids.
your hands.
I said-
There's no posters near the hand washing.
You want to bet? Oh, this is
It's over the
insane.
urinal.
That part I
This
don't
is
know.
pinned
That
so
part I don't know.
insane.
on the back wall,
Okay.
so when you're going number 2, you can read it. I mean, it's
Okay.
Stop with these. I'm washing the hands.
Look,
Okay.
you can even see the mirror here. You know what's so
Yeah, we
insane?
saw that.
You know why? You know what? I know exactly. I'm going to expose something right now.
Expose
What?
it.
You're saying this because you go to the bathroom that's right over here, right?
Yes.
I have found another bathroom I don't like to mingle with the common folk.
Okay, wait.
So
wait,
in
wait,
this,
wait.
in this
Except you
other
watch our
bathroom,
Private? The private one?
I have yet to find. Is there a private one?
He doesn't know about that.
You found
one.
the secondary bathroom and you were trying to flex on us. I found the secondary bathroom weeks
You
ago.
found a private?
I've already found the private bathroom. Showers, towels, hair dryer. I'm dead serious. Plants.
right.
It's like a spa in there.
What?
Yeah, this is
on
not
this
made
floor.
up.
On this floor.
On this
Helwani
very
wasn't gonna
floor.
tell you
Wow,
I
you
looked
tried
everywhere.
to flex the secondary bathroom on me.
Now you-
Secondary bathroom was the first place I went.
You
Okay.
can't tell him now because he wasn't going
No,
to tell you.
you'll
about
never
this.
find out.
The other-
I was so happy that I found this bathroom, and I wasn't going to tell any of you.
Secondary one is great. I can't lie.
In this bathroom, it's on the mirror.
Mm.
So I know what you're referring to. I just want to let you know I have gone elsewhere.
Okay,
I mean,
now
the,
there's a third.
the
that you-
first-rate
There's a-
bathroom is an absolute slop fest. You just
Yeah,
can't
it's-
even go
it's
in there.
disgusting.
It's just like,
I get E. coli
it's-
just walking
yeah,
into that
it's-
place.
It's secondary if the private is
You
taken.
guys are so bougie.
All right. Anyway, back to the.
Okay, but can we
Yeah.
that's not an accident. That's just he
All
tried
right, fine,
something and
listen.
it worked well.
Yeah, he-
Take
I
it up
hate-
with HR. Okay.
I'm gonna
he dipped
message him.
Apple. I think this might be DEI. Just
Yeah.
so we make sure we get our
gotta
departments
fact
correct. I feel like he dipped it in the cinnamon glaze, and he was trying something. Maybe he told the people he was kind of ashamed about dipping it in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
cinnamon
yeah.
glaze. He was like, "Yeah, it was just an accident." Meanwhile, he had this plan in his head, and it worked out for him.
I personally think candy apples are bizarre. Like they kill your teeth.
Caramel apples all day over them.
The whole thing is weird. Also, I can't eat apples anymore just like this. You know, there's one member of the team
Wow.
who enjoys doing it. We won't call him
I
out.
also enjoy doing it. Don't be weird.
I
Shame
cut
people
them.
for eating apples.
I cut them. Who can eat an apple like this?
like
Serial
normal
killer.
human
What
beings.
am I,
Serial killer
sick?
stuff.
You are truly an old man at this point.
You
Kid.
told me
can't
that
eat
Rotten
apples like
apples.
that. We can't stomach a bagel pre-show.
No.
Ariel came in this morning and he was like, Frank, I got this letter from this company called AARP. Can you help me understand? what it is?"
Yeah.
When's
Yeah.
the
Can you get my
colonoscopy? I thought we
reading
were going to get
glasses?
one.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about it. You know, they say 45. I think I might want to just get it out of the way.
Full squad? We all getting one?
I already got mine.
Did you really, Frank?
I've gotten it a few times.
Yeah.
What? You're not even 40 yet.
I had digestive issues.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about
Wow. Well, you brought it up.
Brought up
Everyone,
bathroom
stop
number 2.
chatting shit.
Literally. Okay, back to Ilia Topuria. What do you think the ceiling and future is for Ilia, given that he's knocked out 2 of the 3 greatest 145ers of all time, and no challenger outside of maybe Lopez has looked overly impressive? I don't think you can play this game. I really don't. People get injured, people slip, people struggle, people have a bad weight cut. Someone emerges. I mean, 2 years ago, who would have thought Ilia was doing this to Volk and Max Holloway? So I don't think you could play this game to predict a legendary run. I mean, he's got all the tools. He's got it all. I mean, he's got age on his side. He's got the skill. He's got the power. He's got the complete game. He's got the confidence. He's got the bravado. He's got literally everything. But someone can come on any given day. That's what makes the sport so special. Let us continue. Makum, hello, Ariel and crew. What's up, GC, New York Rick, Mysterious Frank? I'll mention a
Well.
pizza here. Yeah, this is.
That's okay.
We'll get there.
Fuck you too, mate.
It's the beard, man.
First of all, congratulations on turning a new leaf to this MMA chapter. Very happy for you guys. The uncrowned era is here to stay, baby. My question is, what do you think is the road for Max Holloway after that hard-fought battle? He's hinting at lightweight, BMF. What's your take on this? Also, one more. Okay, well, my take, he mentioned the Dustin fight. I kind of really love the Dustin fight. They've had 2 fights. I think that makes a lot of sense. Is there anything else that makes sense to you guys right now? I mean,
I'd take any of the top lightweights. I think he works on all of them.
I really do love the Dustin fight.
I mean, Dustin's number 1.
In Louisiana, BMF belt on the line.
it would never quite happen right now, but like he's the guy that Lerone Murphy is missing, right? Like that's the type of fight that Lerone Murphy is missing.
Well, it could. I mean, let's we don't have to go too far back into history when Ilia Topuria was supposed to be the next guy up. Max was kind of in the way. They didn't fight. He ends up fighting Arnold Allen. Like, you could do the Lerone Murphy fight. It would be the same kind of scenario that we had with the Arnold Allen fight. Like, if Max wants to continue to be a featherweight. I was pretty confident after the last one that he did want to continue to be a featherweight. I think at this point, maybe he will be more inclined to go to lightweight. Now that he has lost to Volkanovski 3 times, now that he has lost to Ilia Topuria, I think lightweight makes a lot more sense.
I will also say, and I agree 100%, there are sexier matchups.
Yeah.
Right?
But again, everybody said this back when he lost to Volk for the third time. They were like, oh, no more lightweight. I don't want to see Max featherweight anymore. No more featherweight for Max Holloway. And he put together an epic run and then had another title shot. So I think it's really like, does he want to continue to compete at featherweight? And I think at this point, maybe he will see the bigger opportunities at lightweight where he did not before.
I mean, there's names like Moicano and Fiziev and
How fun would all those be?
Chandler and Hooker.
Yeah.
You know, he's top 5. He's actually ranked 5th at lightweight right now.
Oh, he beat Justin.
Yeah.
I mean, PT.
Holloway
shake your
Hooker
head.
would be pretty great.
PT, what do we got?
No, it was like, wow, that's amazing kind of shake of the head there.
Yeah.
But he also enters the McGregor sweepstakes de facto because
That's
of this.
another-
You know, because he's going to take some time off. As we know, McGregor has no date confirmed yet. Makes
Can
a lot
Max-
more sense than the Ilya Topuria show on Monday.
I mean, I'm
That
actually,
one.
I'm
Oh,
actually,
God,
I'm actually
stop
shocked
it.
that you're the guy who lambasted us for bringing up.
To want Conor McGregor to fight in a featherweight fight
But
against
we
Ilya
were
Topuria
just-
in
No,
Spain.
nobody.
That's
No,
what
no,
you-
nobody said
170.
featherweight.
We
Nobody
said
said
170.
featherweight.
Yeah, we said 170.
Well, you're talking about the featherweight champion, weren't you?
There was once a time where he
You
was
were.
fighting at 45 and he
Connor
moved all
was
the way
the
up to
featherweight
70.
champ, when
Yeah.
he went up
Yeah.
to fight Diaz at 70.
But can Max get up to 185 is the question. If he's going to fight Connor, can he get up to 185?
205,
Max Holloway
185.
185.
He has one more. How good do you think Khamzat is? Does he deserve a title fight immediately or after Dricus versus Strickland? Saw an interview today that came out with Rad Sports, I believe it was, where Dricus says if it was up to him, Khamzat before Strickland.
That's an OG move, man.
Respect.
Yeah.
One might say you beat Strickland, potentially easier matchup, stylistically a better matchup for you. He said, here's what we could say definitively. Khamzat versus DDP is a bigger box office fight, right? Anywhere in the world, in my opinion.
1,000%.
Pay-per-views, certainly. It's a more interesting fight just by virtue of the fact that we haven't seen it before. And Khamzat's style is so interesting. Look what he just did to Robert Whittaker. I will once again say, if it was in fact promised to Strickland, I don't love the idea of taking it away or breaking that promise. There's no part of me that is, other than that, there's no part of me that is in favor of the Strickland rematch over the Khamzat fight. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think that was such a great fight. It's not a we literally saw it 9 months ago. He's won one fight since. I don't think it makes a ton of sense to get an immediate rematch. He also worth noting, Strickland wasn't a, it's not like Volk, who was, defending the belt 5 times or whatever it was. He didn't defend it once successfully. So it's not like he's a long reigning champion. It's like, all right, we gotta do right by him, right? So I don't get it. And if they haven't promised it to him, then Khamzat versus DDP is the fight. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Is this not an excellent piece of PR from Dricus,
it's brilliant.
Knowing that they cannot really do that fight because of the situation Khamzat's in. He says, I want him now, knowing that very unlikely they can put him in next.
It's actually a brilliant. You know what? I didn't even look. I'm so naive. You're saying this is like old school Chael Sonnen when he would say
exactly what I thought about. Yes.
Oh, wow. Listen, DDP, I just want to let you know that was PT Carroll who said that, not me. Okay, so
DDP, I met you in a hotel lobby for an interview and got you to the UFC back in the day.
Wow.
Like, I'm allowed to say these
okay,
things now.
fair. That's brilliant. Yes, because he gets the street cred, he gets the props. What I just did, right? Yeah. Do you think that's it?
Well, no, I think it works that way anyway. I don't know if that was his intention when he came out, but it certainly works that way as far as I'm concerned. Because I don't think Khamzat's fighting outside of the Middle East.
It's a win-win. If he gets the fight, he got the fight that is bigger fight. If he doesn't, then he looks like a gangster. So yeah, it's a win-win for him.
All right. Well, let's see. Connor Evans is up next. Ariel and crew love the new show and platform. Massive credit to those on the website. They're bringing a certain journalistic standard that has been particularly lacking in the MMA space. Not just MMA, dare I say, but the boxing space as well. A great story from Keith Idek on Turki Al-Sheikh and the influence of Saudi Arabia on boxing that just came out. Our guy Darshan, Everything Boxing, has been absolutely crushing it. He has been a gem. So happy that we have him on board. What about our old friend Kel? Kel dusting off the old pencil and writing a great story on NJPW, New Japan Pro Wrestling. We've got Penn Shamrock doing incredible recaps for us. Drake doing, it's just, sometimes I just sit back and marvel at the site. We've got those great pound for pound rankings that were all the rage yesterday on the program. I'm waiting for a guest column from Frank. I was promised one a year on any. I said you could write about anything combat sports related, but I think Frank actually has, a tremendous skill that he's holding back on us. Yes.
Pizzi hasn't actually been writing. I've been doing.
Wow.
Thank you, Frank.
It was
look,
killing two birds with one
values.
stone, as they say. I fulfilled my requirement. He fulfills his. So that's why he stopped shaving. He wants to look more like me.
It is. And I'm trying to get that pixelated disease as well, but no one will lick me.
Bro.
It's
told you that in
man.
confidence.
It's clearing up.
We've actually talked. We were going to name the feature Through the Frank Lens. It's like right there. It's all right there. So whenever you're ready, Frank, I think it takes us from like an 8.5 to an 11.
We don't care.
Back to the question. In the spirit of what went down this weekend, what's the worst combat sports prediction you have ever made? May I remind you that you did say at the start of this year that Francis would be undisputed heavyweight boxing champion. What? No, I never said that. I never said that.
Nah.
Did I say that?
No.
Thank you.
We were talking about how miraculous that he was in the conversation had he beat Joshua, that he could fight for an undisputed boxing title.
Yeah,
That's
I never
close to that conversation.
Yeah, I never made that prediction. So this is Bullock's. Mine, I thought Uriah Hall was going to be a Mount Rushmore fighter. I mean, that's pretty bad. But you and Dana White.
Because I mean,
No, I know,
after
I know.
Tough, everybody
I
was
know.
like, "Oh my God, the greatest knockout ever! He's gonna be the king of everything." Dana White has proclaimed 6 people like GSP and
No, I know.
Anderson Silva after.
My hit rate with predictions is pretty damn good, I would say.
Do we have that clip of
Oh,
the
no.
UFC 308?
Nah, I mean, that's the best. I mean, that's the worst one and the last one. And I'm done after this.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. I mean, we all remember the time that I hit 2 underdogs on the same weekend. Cheeto Vera against Rob Font, Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano. We all
April
remember.
2022.
Yeah, I mean,
Still looking back on
that's
that.
when the H-Dow was born. That's when it was born. I don't know. What's I mean, you do way worse. Like your percentage is way worse than mine. What do you got, GC?
I need an actual percentage on who actually does worse. I mean, over the volume, I mean, I've made so many more correct predictions.
That's true.
Have.
That's fair.
I don't know. I've made some horrible bets. Some bets that were just never even close to hitting at like minus 180 odds or something. I mean, you could. I have a list as long as I am tall of horrible predictions.
Listen.
But it's the spirit in which Ariel approached the Whittaker thing, I think. That
See, I've
made
never
it
done
worse.
that. I've never done that. I'm like, nothing's a lock. Bet your own money. Anything can happen. No path to victory for Hamza.
No path. Yeah, that one.
I'm gonna get that painted on my bathroom.
Yeah,
wall
no
at home.
path. Yep.
I don't see a path to
win or learn.
for Hamza.
Win or learn. I came out hot. I tried to give you guys some goods for the program.
It was great.
It was good. I mean, look what it turned into.
I loved it.
Didn't even get
The man in the
featured
arena,
on
Ariel.
Freezing Gold Takes. though.
Exactly. Thank you for that, PT.
The man in the arena. Yeah.
James. Hello, Ariel. Just curious, when's the last time you spoke to Carlos Correa? It's actually been a couple of years. He used to be a fixture on our ESPN shows. Even did a roundtable one time with him and Josh Donaldson. I think it was after Khabib retired, but it's been a couple of years. Much love to the guy, legend, and actually a brilliant mind when it comes to mixed martial arts. Like his ability to break fights down was very, very impressive, but it's been a couple of years. Bebin, this is for Ariel and crew. I know the year isn't quite over yet, but what are some fights that must be made in 2025? Shemaev title shot, Conor versus anyone, Ankalaev title shot, Tom undisputed, play fantasy matchmaker. If only one UFC Francis fight can be guaranteed to take place next year, what is it?
Tom and Jones.
That's assuming John Jones wins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the one. If John wins, the one that everyone will be foaming at the mouth for the most, right? I don't know if there's one that feels like it has to happen. I mean, I'd say Hamza, but he kind of really just emerged now as someone that we want to see in a title shot after this performance. Or prior to that, we were still kind of unsure. Pereira. I mean, Pereira Ankalaev is the one, but I don't know if anyone's foaming at the mouth for that heavyweight we just talked about. 170. Not
Kayla
really.
fighting for the title.
Who's that?
Kayla fighting for a title.
Yeah, but no, I think you're right. I think it's Tom. I think it's Tom fighting for the title and unifying those belts. Kenny, hi, Ariel and team. I appreciate your breakdown of the Dana and Francis situation, which included bits and clips I'd forgotten about In an era with Dana fans, politicians, and others spewing lies and creating false narratives, doesn't it get extremely tiresome for journalists to constantly fact check and set records straight? I don't envy that aspect of your job, and I'm grateful that you put in that work. It doesn't get tiresome because I don't think we have to do it all the time. And truth be told, I wasn't actually initially planning on doing that. I remember seeing the initial press conference clip where this all started. That was the Thursday press conference. And honestly, like watching it again, and not even wanting to comment on it because sometimes I don't want to give any of this stuff oxygen. But then I saw it all over the place and I was like, well, this is just craziness. And then I just left it at that, to be honest. And then the amount of tweets and replies that I got saying, oh, we need a breakdown of this, after Francis replied, and then the Saturday reply to the reply, I was like, all right, we need to do one of those. So I don't think we do it all the time or overdo it. And someone did ask me, like, why do you feel the need to do this? And why are you so passionate about this subject? It's not this subject. I just like when the truth is told, and I don't like when things are twisted. And I think this one is so clearly twisted. When we have all this factual evidence from not that long ago saying the complete opposite of what is being said right now, I would not be doing my duty as a journalist, as a media member, if we just take this all at face value, then what's the point of us being here? Ben Askren spoke about this recently, about like how it's reminiscent of what happened to him and how he feels like it's slanderous. I mean, that's for them to decide, but it is just so blatant and so completely opposite from what was being said 4 years ago. I mean, and a lot of these things I lived, like I was there, I did the interviews and all that. So it's not that hard to bring back to light. I just can't believe that someone can sit there and change the story and say, oh, I was going to cut this guy. Oh, I didn't like this guy. Oh, all this stuff. It's nonsense. I wish this wasn't even a part of the sport in that sense. Like these stories, people think that like I get off on this. This is not very fun. And honestly, I feel bad for Francis, if I'm being honest, because he has to sit there and listen to this. Imagine listening to someone just completely, lie about you and then say things like, this one we didn't really address, like the Stipe fight. It's like, oh yeah, and Stipe beat his ass. That wasn't that bad, right? Something like that. Or that was pretty awesome. Whatever he said, like, yo, you're supposed to be the promoter for both these guys. Are you saying like in the moment you were happy about that? Because that wasn't the case. Remember, Stipe and you were feuding, not Francis. Stipe took the belt away from you and gave it to his coach to put around your waist. So it's all just like this revisionist history that, I don't know. It annoys me. Hi, Ariel. Since you have shifted away from MMA, from an MMA-only show, I will say it's still like 95% MMA. So all these concerns and complaints that it was going to change, what do you got to say now? Are there any new awards you can tease for the end of the year award show? Maybe Ade gives his Boxer of the Year, and or you bring on a pro wrestling writer to give the Wrestler of the Year award. What do you guys think? Should we put some new awards in there? I mean, it's pretty robust as it is.
Or do we just make like boxers eligible for Fighter of the Year?
No, that's crazy.
Separate?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to make it.
Why is that crazy?
No, that's absolutely.
I think we can have guest appearances. Penn Shamrock.
But like, do we do like just a Wrestler of the Year award?
Give me the Wrestler of the Year.
Not like Match of the Year.
I can't give my take on any of those. So
no, I know, but like, do we bring in a guest for those? You know how like Rick picks social media user of the year?
Can
like
we bring in Penn Shamrock?
No, we'd have to bring in.
No, he could do like
the witness protection.
Yeah,
I come to this office every single day. I still have no idea who Penn Shamrock really is.
That's perfect.
Is Penn Shamrock the actual Mysterious Frank?
That's what we want. All right, it's kayfabe. We're keeping it alive.
I don't like how he's infringing on Frank's gimmick, if I'm being honest.
I like
Get out of here.
I like the idea. Ade comes in with his Boxer of the Year, male, female Boxer of the Year. I don't mind that.
Should I find another job?
We moved on, Frank.
Yeah, what does that have to do with you?
No one's more concerned about getting fired than Frank. You brought this up at lunch, too.
I fired him 4 times
He was
today.
like, has Rick fired you yet?
It's become a normal occurrence.
Well, thank you for that, Alex, and we will consider it. MJ, querido papi Ariel. Did I pronounce that correctly? Querido? Frank, aren't you Hispanic?
We don't care.
All right. Interviews have been cooking this week. Incredible work. Question: are there plans for any women to contribute to Uncrowned? With more female fighters than ever, a potential atomweight UFC division, women's sports being an ever hotter topic, I think a lady contributor would further elevate the new era and help keep it relevant. Well, I will have you know that the leader of the ship, the captain of the ship, is a woman. Andy is steering the ship. So there's one. And if you're referring to just the website, I did actually speak to a couple of women for boxing. It didn't work out, but absolutely would love to have a female voice or two. I'm quite happy with the diversity on the team so far, but looking for the best and would love to have different voices, different perspectives. This isn't the all boys club that Frank wants it to be, okay?
I told you that in confidence. We need to go over what that means.
Matt, Ariel and crew, when the UFC comes back to England for pay-per-view, would you consider doing one of your amazing night with Ariel and friends? If the event is at the O2 Arena, you could do it at the Indigo at the same venue. Would love to come to a show. Yes, I told you, London, Dublin, that's the dream. That is the absolute dream. Hearing some chatter about a London March show. You hearing that, Pizzi, or what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Back to basics. Let's cut this bullshit in the middle of the night out. Let's
Yes.
get back to a classic UFC London. I wanted you to do the arena. You did the arena at American time. Let's just get back to what we know. March
Pay-per-view?
cards, St. Patrick's weekend. Let's go.
Pay-per-view? Or just a fight night?
I don't think
Well,
so.
if it's a pay-per-view, like
Nah,
I
just do it.
suppose
A
that
fight
would
night.
put. Yeah, but like
Fight night?
they're gonna want to see Aspinall if he's.
Can I
and if
crash
it's
at your place,
Aspinall, you
PC?
figure they'd do it in the middle of the night. You can stay at mine, and then we'll have to get a plane to the
Yes.
UK.
Jeez,
That's all right.
Sure. We actually still don't have a spare room. We have loads of empty rooms, but we just haven't.
All
bought
I
a
need
spare
is an
bed.
air mattress, man. I need 6 feet by 3 feet. Just lay my body somewhere.
Pizza, do you
You
have a
can
cat?
definitely do that. Do I have a cat? I have a dog,
Okay.
Reggie.
He might be allergic to the dog, so.
No, I'm not allergic to dogs. I'm allergic to cats. Frank always
The
invites me
dog
over.
tends to, like, he'll want to sleep on you. If you
Perfect.
stay in my house. It's
There
happened
we
to a lot
go.
of people.
I don't need a
when they stay
blanket
in the
then.
couch.
By the way, Pizzi, how
Very
big is your
quickly.
mansion? You say you have loads of empty rooms?
Loads. I can't even count how many rooms.
He
I
gave
have
us a
empty in here.
tour. They're all colored different colors.
The
I got the green
green,
room, the
the
blue
purple.
room. Which
Yeah.
room are you in right now, Pizzi?
I'm in my office at the moment. I actually have to leave a trail of breadcrumbs from here back to the kitchen, so I know how to get back. That's
Yeah.
how big it is.
Ariel does that in the studio.
Boblo, before I ask, I just want to clarify. I am aware this is your show and you can talk about whatever the hell you want, but I have to ask. Why do you feel the need to defend Francis the way you do? As soon as Francis was brought up at the presser last weekend, I knew Monday's episode would include an hour plus of you defending him and shitting on Dana. Why not just take your own advice from Monday and say Francis is right and Dana is wrong and God bless and move on? At this point, it seems like you are using Francis' success and victory over the UFC to shove it in Dana's face every chance you can. We all know Dana is a POS. We all know Francis is doing amazing things, but none of us need another hour plus breakdown of the issues between the two. Let me go to the comments here and read what some people have to say. Because, this is from Spud Greg, because Ngannou has too many haters for doing the right thing, too many people throwing shade at a guy while not actually knowing why the Jones fight didn't happen. All right, thank you. Mr. Clean says, I love the breakdown on Ngannou. By the way, if you check the comments, especially on Ariel's Facebook posts about Ngannou, there's a ridiculous amount of Ngannou haters out there that eat up everything Dana says and think Ngannou is just a greedy POS. Even saw people saying the fight was fixed. Complete morons. Ariel is not using Francis' success. He's doing proper journalism and reporting on a subject and breaking shit down for all the meathead casuals. Francis deserves videos like that. I mean, Mr. Clean said it all.
Well, journalism is meant to hold the people in power to account. That's what the whole job is meant to be. So if he's not doing that, he's not doing what he says he is, I guess.
Zarian Combi. Hello, Ariel and the crew. Just wondering, what was the most painful injury you guys had? I feel like New York Rick seems like a guy that gets gout.
Go F yourself like entirely. I don't know. I can't quite decipher what that actually means, like how that would be manifested.
Just pirates on you.
But I truly want you to go shove something inside.
I'm not
your
even gonna
body
lie. I didn't
and
even know
make
what
it painful.
I didn't even know what gout was.
What is
A
gout?
type of arthritis that causes severe pain and swelling in joints due to a buildup of uric acid.
What the fuck is that?
It's such a random injury.
Do something painful to yourself, please.
It's what like pirates used to get when they
No,
were
that's scurvy.
on the
that's
sea.
scurvy.
Oh man!
No, I think they
Anytime
got
you
gout
get
as well.
pain, redness, stiffness, swelling, tenderness, or a warmth, feeling like the joint is on fire, we need to watch Rick's complaints closely because gout is what I'm going to accuse him of every time now.
It should be noted, I very rarely have any pain. Like I'm pretty Teflon when it comes to this type of stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I've never had
And that's not
any
weird
real
at all.
severe injuries, actually.
We continue. That was just too. I have nothing to add. It was just.
Wait, there
too
was
good.
no answer of the injury question? What's the worst injury?
Pete,
It's
I
just
feel like you've had
Eric's got
something
gout?
gnarly. I feel like you've had something gnarly, Pete.
I've had broken bones a lot.
What
broken
bones?
both broke my hand at the same time once.
Pub fight?
Fell
Should've
out
seen
with
the other
trolley when I
guy,
was
yeah.
Pub fight.
no. I fell out of a trolley when I was pissed on Halloween when I was 14.
Wait,
Halloween, huh?
By the way, do you celebrate Halloween? Is it a thing over there?
Why do you know that we invented Halloween here? Samhain, look it up. We fucking invented this holiday.
What is
Actually,
all
you're
right.
going to say you invented St. Patrick's Day.
And you
I'm not here for
bastardize it with
this.
candied apples and fucking burning witches at the stake or whatever you are doing
What
over
do
there.
you use to celebrate?
Huh?
Like
What
you
is
say
your
we
celebration?
bastardize it. What is your celebration?
Getting pissed and
Oh,
falling
man,
out of a
it's-
truck and breaking your hand.
That's yeah. You
Come on,
don't do
man.
trolley fights.
You black
Yeah,
out
no,
and
so-
get to a trolley fight and break.
Did you know, by the way, that black and orange are Halloween's signature colors because the ancient Celts believed black
Celts.
symbolized Celts or Celts?
Celts, but Celtics is the name of the team.
Oh, is this more shitter facts?
those
I read
fighting
this one
words.
earlier. I was like, this sounds
symbolized the death of summer, and orange symbolized the fall harvest, according to the Library of Congress. I do believe the Library of Congress is not situated in Dublin. So.
I need to know.
Everybody-
Eric,
Where do you think the
did
fucking
you
Celts
take a-
were situated, mate? Where do you think the Celts are situated?
It's actually
take a
pronounced
pic-
Celts.
Celts.
Did you take a picture of the facts to share with like other
Yes.
people? Was it specifically
No,
for this
literally
moment? What
read
was
it.
the-
I read it and I said this would be fun on the show, and I
Okay.
think it's
Every
actually
Monday,
worked out that way.
Ariel
And
comes
nobody-
in.
It has worked out that way.
He sees the refreshed thing while he's dropping a bomb.
What if someone in the bathroom saw you pull out your phone and start taking pictures? Do you know how to get us banned from this place?
This for the show?
Nah.
No reason.
People
That's
take
why office
pictures of
facilities
themselves
asking
in
for a
the,
meeting
the
tomorrow.
selfie pictures, and there's like I was taking a mirror pic. I'll show you the picture. It's very clearly on a mirror.
Yeah, we
Whoop,
can
I don't know
see
what
that. We
is.
can see that. It looks like the inside of a stall.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't even know what we're talking about at this point.
He was answering
Halloween.
what
Does
they do
Pizzi
for
celebrate
Halloween.
Halloween, and he said I invented.
Do they trick or treat?
Yeah, they do. My gaff will just get absolutely bombarded for about 3 hours.
Not in your
tomorrow.
neighborhood though,
And I'll-
because it's like essentially the roughest part of town, right? So kids can't
Yeah,
walk.
but we got the roughest kids, so they're
Yeah,
brave. They come up and knock on your door. Elaine always goes missing around trick or treat time, I find. Oh, I've got kept on at work, and then I'm here by myself, stranded,
It's
Oh,
the
that's
trying
worst.
to
fun,
get the
bro. That's
dog
fun.
not to attack the kids. It's
You could do the veteran move. Just leave the bowl outside.
then they'll throw stones at my house.
You don't like seeing the kid?
Wait, they'll be mad about that? That's the houses I like because I don't have to ring the
Well, no.
doorbell.
If it was just the bowl, one kid would come along and just take all of the stuff, and that would be the end
That's
of
up to them. That's between them and their lord. But you have to have an honor system here,
it. And then the next parents will come up and
and then
they'll
they'll
be
stone
like
the
knocking
house.
on the door, being
Okay.
like, "Where is the sweets, mate?" Like,
You know what you
participate in
do?
our
You show
community.
them the ring footage of the one kid stealing it, and then you just never have to talk about it again.
So you're
Or a
gonna,
video of
you're
you
gonna get a lot
falling
of
out of a
trick or treaters
truck.
tomorrow, huh?
oh, loads, honestly.
Yeah, we get a lot too, but the thing is, we get a lot because I don't know if you guys know this, but our house, we do like the full size candy bars.
No, you don't.
No,
Wow,
you
He
don't.
you're
said
so
that in the
cool.
past.
You're
No,
not
you
doing
don't.
that.
Yeah, people love us for
You're
that.
handing out apples.
It's just
you said you said you do broccoli, steamed broccoli.
I just feel like that's the kind of guy that I am.
Is this like
you know?
Billy Madison?
Well done,
when they
Ariel. That's so
Yeah.
cool of
You
you.
find the Rolexes inside.
It's for the kids.
You could easily become the guy that gives out full-size candy bars and doesn't brag about it.
No.
You make the trick or
can't.
treaters take off.
There's
their
no
shoes.
such
Give
thing.
us the fun size.
No, to do the full size, you have to brag about it. It's hand in hand.
This feels
There's
like
a-
projection. This feels like something that's gnawing at you.
I see the tweet. I'll send you guys the tweet.
You hate it.
There's one tweet that you saw in particular.
Yeah.
All right, I'd like to see it.
There was a
I
lad
have some
that
thoughts
used
on
to
who
live
it
on the
might be,
road.
so I'd like to see.
All
who it
right.
was.
We continue. Matt Mo, sup, Ariel. Over the last few years, we have all grown accustomed to the foursome of chemistry between Ariel, GC, Rick, and Frank. So when you announced in Vegas that PT Carroll will be joining the team, I naturally got worried as I didn't want any toes to be stepped on. With 2 weeks, 2+ weeks, and thankfully he showed up today. looked for a way out of the new era now under your belt. I am happy to say Pete has already become an integral part of the team. Not only did he win me over with his insight and wit, but he's a natural fit, and the foursome is now a successful quintet. How about that?
Going to be a lot of upset people about that in the comments, I'd imagine.
My question...
I'm going to quintet is smooth.
My question is for GC, Rick, and Frank. How did it feel finding out that there would be another person at the lunch table? Be honest. Were there any hesitancies?
No, I was excited.
Breaking news here. He's not at the lunch table.
Yeah, he technically isn't. He technically
It's
isn't.
like, maybe they're not
Yeah, I
understanding.
didn't even think about that.
I saw somebody in the chats the other day saying, I really like the guys. I don't know who this British guy is. It's like,
Yeah, you get called a Brit a lot in the
It cracks
comments.
me up.
I don't know if that's a joke from the time that Brendan Schaub called me a Brit.
Maybe
or not,
that's it.
because we got great fun out of that for 3 years. Thank you, Ariel and Chuck. So I don't know.
Frank was just
Hopefully
not understanding that inside joke, but I was happy to add somebody until I found out it was Pizzi. Then I was not. Then I was a little more upset. But it's been
Pete
all right.
can attest that him and I are brothers from another mother. Like, we totally get
Very.
each other. He's a perfect. You know what? It feels good to actually have a true friend on the team.
I was
Wow.
most excited because I
And you're
want to go
fired.
visit Dublin, and now I can have a place to,
Now there's,
to
yeah.
crash.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's been
And when
great.
Me
empty
and
rooms.
Rick have been blood rivals for over a decade, so it's been tough.
It's long standing.
But
It's tough.
I'll say I thought we bonded over our joint love of the situation when he was standing 5 feet from us. I thought that was our real moment that we came together there. But now that he's not here anymore, now that the situation is not between us, like I guess.
The situation, like from Jersey Shore,
Oh yeah,
that's right.
legend.
Was there any other
living
situation?
icon?
I don't know if the situation was referring to like the situation
Yeah.
of Pizzi joining the
Mike
show.
Like on Vegas.
situation Sorrentino.
That's who we're talking about.
Shout out,
One of the most famous people on earth.
legend.
P.S. He says, I really appreciate the epic birthday cameo back in August, Ariel. Never got to tell you thank you, but it really made my day. Don't mention it. Cameo. Check it out.
Didn't he pay for it?
Listen, he appreciated the present.
Before we move on,
Yes.
how
I go
hard is it-
long with my cameos, like 3.5, 4 minutes.
Is there not like a reply
Wow.
feature on Cameo?
Yeah, but you have to pay $2.99 for that.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just
And
the way the app works.
After emptying the
That's
bank
what
on
it
the
is.
Cameo.
I'm sorry. If you want to send me a message, you got to pay for it. That's just, I don't, them's the rules. I'm sorry.
I
So are you going to
sometimes-
charge him right now for sneaking in?
No, this one's on the house.
It's
Substack.
gracious, thank you. I mean, he did pay you to do it.
Probably, I think, a loved one. He
Like I
probably-
get out of the car, like if I'm Ubering with someone, and they like so graciously thank the Uber driver. I'm like, thanks is enough. Just
Yeah.
get out and
Oh,
say
thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I did pay you to do it. So
Max83, hello, Ariel. I spend the last days checking out uncrown.com, and I have to say that I love the website. So my question is, how about an app version of it? This would be great. Greetings from Germany, my man. It's a tremendous question that has been asked of me a lot. We're just getting started. 3 weeks in, Rome wasn't built in a day. Let's see.
Pizzi, weren't you saying something about how you have skills in app development?
No.
Yeah, but I'm actually doing one on the sly, just in the background at the moment. So maybe I can hit you with a beta in the next couple of days.
I'm one built in a day. I get it.
Gabrielle, hello, Ariel and the boys in the back. Quick one. Given the recent talk about D. Wade's statue, could we ever see the UFC make statues for legends? I mean, they'd have to be in good standing with them, and they aren't with a lot of them. But there are a few that would certainly qualify. If so, where? Maybe T-Mobile or outside the headquarters? Big fan in Bakersfield. CA Gabrielle Sedano. First of all, I think the D. Wade thing is overblown. I don't think it's that bad.
Completely
It's pretty
disagree.
bad,
That
yeah.
is a horrific statue.
We've seen worse. The Beckham one was way worse. Not to make
The,
it
the,
better.
the original Ronaldo one was probably the worst I've
Oh,
ever seen.
yeah. The Ronaldo one
Um,
was awful.
This
The
one
eyes.
is very bad though, like horrific.
Why? Because he looks old?
No, it just doesn't really look like
Wayne
him.
Wade.
Yeah.
It looks more like
He said it's an
Tony
artist.
Allen.
It's an artist sort of interpretation of him.
No,
that was
no,
very
no,
kind
no.
of him to
Yes.
say. I think that's because photos that I was shown by GC show that he was, or maybe it wasn't GC, I forget, but he was involved in the creation of it. So now I feel like he's trying to like cover the tracks a little bit. Horrible.
The photoshops of like them putting it like on his wedding picture, them like
Yeah,
making it like
yeah.
he's Thanos versus Ronaldo's statue being Captain America. Like when you do the Photoshop onto him, it makes it look so bad.
It feels like if they're gonna do one, Dana's gonna commission a statue of himself.
Ooh. It's...
Where would it go? T-Mobile?
No, because they
their,
don't own that. It would be
Yeah.
be outside the Apex or something.
their relationship with T-Mobile and with MGM isn't great. So
What fighter would get a statue outside the Apex?
None.
John Strickland? He's got like eight fights there.
Kevin Holland outside
brilliant.
the Apex.
That's brilliant.
The Apex.
I
That's
don't know.
great.
Maybe Chuck. Maybe like a Chuck like this would be, considered Dana's
that pose.
love for Chuck. But yeah, I don't know if it's happening anytime soon. I still would love for them to make a UFC Hall of Fame headquarters where you can go look. Think about all the stuff that they must have from over the years: the posters, the artifacts, the rings. It's right there. I think they would make a killing. Not to mention the MMA Hall of Fame, which I am working on, by the way. And in my lifetime, I hope to see it come to fruition. But yes, statues
That's
would be
awful.
great.
I saw it there. I had to check it. He looks like a White Walker from
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Thank you, Pete.
A what?
A White Walker.
White Walker.
Hit the white on that one.
Um,
Cool whip.
Abe, Ariel, my friend, welcome back. Please, can you and the crew weigh in on the likelihood of either scenario playing out? Jones versus Stipe falls out. Neither agree to fight Aspinall backup, so they upgrade Chandler versus Charles to main event for the interim lightweight title. I hope not. That's a lot of bad juju. Option 2, either Stipe versus Jones gets injured. Either guy refuses to fight Tom again, so they ditch the backup fighter Tom and bring in Pereira. And for those who say it can't happen, remember Gamrot Volk when Oliveira got cut. P.S. Thanks for being a truth teller, unlike Dana White, who continues to lie. In years to come, many will forget what he said, and he'll probably claim, that he defended Francis from the fans, like he did with DJ. LOL. I can just hear it now. Quote, who defended Francis more than me? End quote. Much love, your boy Abe. I hope neither. I love you, Abe, but I hope neither
What
of
is
those.
Gamrot Volk? What is that?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think Stipe or John would take Tom Aspinall or Alex Pereira on short notice.
No, it's not going to happen. We're getting.
I don't
this.
think they would fight anybody but each other.
What are we?
if-
We're a little over 2 weeks away.
2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Stipe shocks the world.
Ooh, your sources telling you?
Did you have a chat
said
before the
this
episode
yesterday.
today? Any chats?
No chats.
Okay.
Robert, good day, Ariel and the boys in the back. Robert from Edmonton here. Saturday will be my first live UFC event. Do all of you remember what the first card you went to live in was? I'm sure Ariel does. His memory's insane. For GC, who are some Canadian locks for me to win some money on? Love the work you guys are doing and appreciate all the content. Thanks, guys. Shout out to Edmonton, one of the great cities, one of the great arenas in the greatest White North. First event that I went to live, first pay-per-view that I ever went to was UFC 78. That was in Newark, New Jersey. First event that I went to was the Tough 3 finale. It was either the Palms or the Hard Rock. I always got those two mixed up. I was working for a production company that did the pre-show for SpikeTV.com. It was hosted by Forrest Griffin versus Stephan Bonner, and it was the one that was won by Michael Bisping. And yes, it was Kendall Grove as well. It was very, very exciting to be there and to be working. And then I went and bought 2 tickets to UFC 78. I sat all the way in the 400s. I asked my boss at the time to go with me. We went, and that was Rashad Evans versus Michael Bisping. It was a somewhat maligned main event because it was a non-title main event, and this is when they were doing way less shows. I was at the Prudential Center, and there was no title on the line, but the promotion was tough winner versus tough winner, tough 2 versus tough 3, and it was fine, but it felt a little cobbled together. Rick, your first one was what, 101?
101, Philadelphia, Anderson Silva versus Forrest Griffin, and BJ Penn versus Ken Flo? Yes.
Yeah.
It was pretty incredible.
PT?
UFC 93 in Dublin. Rich
Yeah.
Franklin v. Dan Henderson. Mark Coleman v. Shogun Hua.
I believe Tom Egan made his debut, right?
Tom Egan fought Hathaway. That's right.
Yeah. That was he was the first Irish-born fighter, right?
No.
Who was?
There was lads in Belfast, I think, in 2007. Colin Big C. Robinson and another couple of lads. But he was the first, I believe, from the Republic of Ireland. I believe that's
Okay.
the story there.
What about you, GC? I mean, not that long ago, right?
Oh, yeah. UFC Fight Night, Long Island.
Yeah.
Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega. Much maligned main event, you know. There was a injury stoppage.
Mhm.
Frank's first event, too.
Frank's first event. Troy jinxed
Yeah,
it.
big. Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
Troy.
Troy
Just
is
every
the
time he
jinx.
shows up, it goes terribly wrong.
Did you guys not go to
Everything.
PFL before that, though?
Yeah, I think he's asking for UFC.
Nah, that was
though.
after.
That was
You went to Bellator before, no?
That was July 2022. Yes, I went to Bellator.
Musasi Eblin.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Mohegan Sun, June 2022.
And there was a light in your face the whole time.
Light in the face. But I actually went to LFA. Yeah, that's
Oh, that's right.
LFA in Phoenix.
I actually went to LFA in
Yes.
Phoenix. LFA 71, I think. Former UFC fighter was on it. But yeah, it was a great night. Great night. Yeah, I went to a lot of promotions in 2022.
LFA 71 was in Atlanta, Georgia in July of 2019.
2019? Wow.
Jason Jackson was on that. main event.
LFA, who was it? Rogerio Bontorin?
Oh, okay.
Is that who it was? Did he fight in LFA?
Another one from Abe. Hello, Ariel. In the past, you spoke about battles with imposter syndrome when in positions you weren't sure you deserved. I didn't know how that felt until recently, getting a promotion and now sitting alongside peers I previously saw as superiors. If you don't mind, with all the recent success and more to come, my question is, do you still ever feel that imposter syndrome, or do you feel/believe you've arrived and belong? Excuse me, can you sit back and give yourself the old Barry H? P.S. On a previous show, you expressed feeling hot in the studio. Couldn't help but ask myself, why didn't Ariel crack open the famous new window? Much love, your boy Abe. Did I say I was hot in this studio? Because I actually think it should be hotter.
I think you said when you came in this room, you were feeling
Also,
it.
there are many a window, including this one, that can't open. There's no
It's
latch.
common in New York. They don't let
Yeah.
you open all windows.
Yeah, they don't
how
want you
high
to-
They, are. They don't want accidents.
Exactly.
Which I can understand.
So, nice attempt to catch me there, but no dice. As for imposter syndrome, all the time, man. I was just at the Olympics, and God bless the people I was working with. I had an amazing time. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And they would be like, "Yeah, in 20 minutes, we've got Eleanor Harvey, the first medalist from Canada to win any kind of medal in fencing. We're going to do a 20-minute sit down with her. You cool with that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm totally cool with that." Fencing and swimming and gymnastics, I knew nothing of these things. What the hell am I doing here? Working for the CBC? So I get these feelings all the time. I mean, I'm doing that Netflix show in a couple of weeks, and I know that people, are sort of feeling one way or the other about that fight, but it's a pretty big freaking deal. So I get those feelings and emotions all the time. I think it's kind of healthy. I think if you just sit back and think you're king shit all the time, I don't think that motivates you. I don't think that's the engine. I think sometimes anxiety is the engine that you need to propel yourself to have success. And it, usually works out. I had it pretty bad when I was doing NBA sidelines. What the hell am I doing here? But then you have to come to the realization, someone has to do this job, and someone is out there who started from nothing and then built himself up and then became, successful in this particular field. So why can't it be you? It's like the story that I always tell to young kids when I ask them, like, what is your dream? And then they tell me what their dream is, and then more often than not, I can tell that they think that that's a far-fetched dream. And I say, why can't it be you? Why can't you be the general manager of the New York Giants? Why can't you be an NBA owner? Why can't you be a lawyer for a big firm? Why can't you be a singer? Why can't you be whatever the hell you want to be? And maybe someday, some way along the way, it changes, it evolves. You take a different path. You make a left turn when you were supposed to make a right turn. Who knows? But I think all these things are very healthy. And I try as much as I can to embrace these things, because now all of a sudden I'm 42. I'm not the 27-year-old, so I don't really have an excuse. I'm kind of old. Now, I'm sure there's a 60-year-old out there being like, "Ha, you think you're old?" Of course not. But why the fuck can't it be me? Why can't I do this? So yeah, imposter syndrome is a real thing. I think a lot of people have it. I don't think it's something that should be shunned. I don't think it's something that you should be ashamed of. And I think that if you embrace it, if you embrace the fact like, hey, I'm fresh, I'm new to this, but I'm going to freaking knock it out of the park. If you get the opportunity, run with it, or take the damn opportunity and fake it till you make it.
Well said, man. I can relate.
Yeah.
I felt the same way today when you brought in bagels. I was like, I don't deserve this.
Wow.
And I just want to say on behalf of the whole control room, I'm sure
Oh.
they meant to say it at some point. Thank you so much for the kind gesture today.
Wow.
They were really good
What is
bagels.
this? What is this, Frank? What are you doing right now?
My kids would call this glazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm unfamiliar
Glaze
with
Stop
that.
the
king
glaze.
over
They
here.
weren't
Frank
glazed
Glaze.
donuts.
They would
were
say
bagels.
They would say, my kids would literally say to this, "Stop the glaze."
Oh, my
Honestly,
God.
bro.
Those fighting words.
Stop the glaze, bro.
Nah, but you know what?
Those weren't donuts. Those were bagels, man.
I mean,
glaze.
no, I'm happy you brought it up. The Halloween bagels and the everything
Delicious.
bagels.
Yeah, they were great, man. And as I enjoyed them, yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate you doing this. Means
The
a lot.
multiple schmears that I brought. I mean,
Well, multiple
Just send me
schmears,
a
and then you
bagel.
said you looked the one that I
looked
liked
at
the most.
scallion
You looked
and
it
it
dead in
was
the
just
eye, and you were
so
like,
bad.
"It's disgusting."
so bad. You know, I
And
got
then
a.
you got the one with fish flakes all in it,
No, it wasn't
Oh,
fish
for
flakes.
fuck's sake.
It was lox.
Pete.
which are fish cut up.
Nah.
So Jordan is like, yeah, I don't eat cream cheese. I don't eat salmon. And
I
you're
forgot
like, I
about
got
that.
you. You got this.
I got a poke bowl on Monday. For some, I did not ask for scallion. For some reason, they put a plethora of scallion in there.
It's great. Good shit.
More scallion, the better. How do you eat like any Asian cuisine? They put scallions
You
everywhere.
don't like any onions? You don't like onions at all?
I hate onions
Just
because
eat
I
a
feel like I burp it up all
Oh,
night.
you're crazy. You're
Yeah.
crazy. You can't eat. You can't drink seltzer water. You can't eat onions. You can't do
drink
full
seltzer water?
bagels
What's, like,
anymore.
what?
Yeah,
Fruit after dinner is a
pathetic.
no-go.
it's a lot of problems. It's a lot of problems.
It's time for the colonoscopy.
Wow, serious?
Let's get
Yeah,
it checked,
you know,
man.
good show. Get
Yo,
it done
stop
sooner
that.
rather than
Yeah.
later.
You
Flip
know,
side, Ariel, you start to get a discount in most places.
I'm
There's small celebrations everywhere. You
I'm
just
going to fixate over that line.
When you do the colonoscopy, we'll make sure you come into the office for the day before clean out. We'll make sure they got 10 fact sheets in the bathroom.
There we
Wow.
go. You can
We'll
read
keep
them
you
all.
nice and entertained.
By the way, thank you to Antoine who mans the chat, who lets us know that welterweight Stephen Lynch was the first Irishman to fight in the UFC at UFC 72, losing to Dustin Hazlett. Colin Robinson fought in the very next fight. Sorry, Pete.
There you go.
You could, I mean, this is a Brit telling you.
Well, I said some other lad.
Yeah. I mean, it sort of feels like you should have known.
He was a lad, like.
Yeah.
So.
No,
gotta
no.
learn.
No, you're right. You're right. Should I go to another one or do we have our guest? Danny, hi Ariel and the boys in the back with the new merch release. Can I please make a suggestion for the next rollout? Sure. With your favorite catchphrase being "you know yourself," how about we drop a T-shirt with "you knows yourself"? Wow. What do we think, Danny from Manchester? Shout out to GC, Manchester's adopted son. That's not bad. You knows yourself? That's not bad.
Yeah, bro's going to need royalties on that one. That's great.
Nah, I'll rip it off. No problem. I mean, this is like he just literally like offered it up. Victor R, can we please get the "We Don't Care" soundbite from Darren Till interview in the rotation? I believe it is.
We don't care.
Yeah, there it is. It's a fantastic drop. Shout out to Darren. Shout out to everyone. I'm going to get to the super chatter questions on the back end of the program, so stay tuned for that. For now, though, let us go to one of our own. Yes, he's one of our own. He's one of our own. Michael Venom Page, he's one of our own. He's competing this weekend in his very first grappling match at Polaris 30 against the legend, Carlos Condit. Holy shit, this came out of nowhere. First off, MVP, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Obviously, last week in the lead up, so just doing the last bit of preparation before the new space that I'm fighting in.
Yes, imagine telling someone 5-6 years ago that striker extraordinaire, kickboxer, karate man extraordinaire, Michael Venom Page in a grappling match against Carlos Condit of all people. And so tell us, how did this all materialize? Where did this come from?
So before the last fight, actually, I was already saying to myself, I just wanted to take a little bit more time out and just focus solely on grappling. And then after the last fight, I was like, yeah, I just want to focus on that. I really enjoy grappling. I love the jiu-jitsu, I love the wrestling. But what I was finding is when it came to the, under the lights, I was struggling. I just ended up falling into a conscious thought. And in a big fight, you can't be there. It's too slow. It takes too long to respond, and you're already like 10 steps behind. So I said to myself, let me just focus on it. And then a friend of mine said that he's friends with the Polaris matchmaker, and if I was interested, would I want to do a grappling competition and on Polaris? And I was like, you know what, yeah, giving myself something to focus on while I'm already tuned into jiu-jitsu, but actually having an end goal definitely sounded like the better option for me. So then we ended up speaking, and then it was actually supposed to be Cowboy Cerrone.
Oh, wow.
and then for whatever reason he's unable to do it, and then it landed on Carlos, so which is still a great fight.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I was wondering about that. Carlos retired. He's not a part of this type of scene circuit. Do you know how they thought of even reaching out to him?
To be fair, I haven't a clue. I just said I was interested and kind of let the names kind of come to filter through to me. And then, he, like I said, Cowboy, I think it was supposed to be him initially, and I don't know what happened, but they said they wasn't getting answers after a certain time. So just to be safe, they wanted to, throw a few other names, and then it got to Carlos, and then they 100% secured that in and locked that in.
How does it work? I believe Polaris airs on Fight Pass, right?
Yeah.
So do you have to get clearance from the UFC for this, or because it's part of Fight Pass, there's no need?
Yeah, I believe that there's no clearance. I think we've seen a lot of the MMA guys jumping into jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff. So yeah, there's been no. I'll let the guys know already that I was looking to do it, and there's been no issue for me doing it.
This is a 185-pound fight.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have to cut weight, right?
Yeah, I still cut. I get a bit heavier. So I still cut, but it's not too strenuous. Not as strenuous as going to 150.
And do they do weigh-ins?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll have a weigh-in, I believe, the press conference or some kind of something. I'm too freestyle. I'll just go where I'm told.
Could you tell, for those that may not follow Polaris, what are the rules here? Like, how long is the match? No gi. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so it's no gi, and it's 1 round, 10-minute round. All submissions are available to you. I believe the actual judges, they break it down into 3.5 minute matches or something like that, where they judge. You won't see it on the screen, which I think they should do because it would make it more interesting for everybody. But I think the judges, after 3 or so minutes, they'll make a score on who they believe is winning. It's kind of broke into 3 rounds, but only in their head, shall I say. So if there is no submission by the end of the 10 minutes, they will award who they believe that has been the more dominant.
Do you feel? I mean, you've been doing all kinds of competitions for a long time. Because this is your first in this particular field, do you feel the nerves? Are you feeling like a rookie? What are you feeling a few days before the event?
I'm excited, man. I'm actually excited to just to be in there. I think it's been nice as well because the shoot fighters have, I believe, 5 people on Polaris.
Oh wow!
Norbert Naveni being one of them. Who people would have seen him with me a lot. Great MMA fighter on Bellator. We've got Chris Osbeck, who's in that space anyway. He does that a lot. Ramal, we've got Nathan Jones. There's quite a few of us just all on. So it's been cool in the gym because everybody's kind of doing the same thing. Obviously, we still got guys going out and doing the MMA fights. But it's been nice. It's been nice.
And so I remember, we've talked a million times about this. You would compete in karate competitions as a kid and work your way up. I think your first one was when you were 5 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
When was the last time you competed in a non-MMA, non-combat, obviously the bare knuckle, I'm not talking about that, just a sort of no real stakes attached, just for fun, just to experience something on a regular Saturday? When was the last time you did something like this?
That's a good question. I think it's been a long time. I think literally since I joined MMA and had my first fight, I don't believe I looked back. So it's been a while. It's been a long while. So that's why I think that's another added part of the excitement as well, is kind of going to as you say, there's no stress, man. I'm just going in there. I've been working on something and I'd like to see where I land with it, because it's going to be a testing ground for me and a bit of a reader for me to see what I need to continue improving on. And then, I want to keep kind of working this ground area to the end of the year. And then next year, I want to be aggressive in the cage again.
So, and more to that point, it has to be really refreshing. There's no worry about title shots or rankings or I need to do this to impress these people. Like, this is just for the love of the game, right? That has to feel very nice.
100%, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like I needed it as well. Just I needed a bit of a. This is why I wanted to kind of take a break in the first place. And even though I've given myself something to do, essentially in a competitive way, there is still not the same kind of pressure. So it 100%. It feels so nice, and just like I said, just the environment in the gym, just learning, just being a complete student again, and not being so specific in terms of, like you say, the rankings and who do I fight next and this and what, every move means something. It's just, no, I can just go out there and just enjoy myself.
You've been doing this for a very long time. You're 37 now. Why do you think now you feel this need to really focus on grappling? Like, why did you get so far and have so much success without having to zero in on this?
The thing is, I've always been doing it. I just feel like because I haven't focused on it specifically, everything's been game plan almost. So although we do jiu-jitsu lessons and so on and so forth, and you learn new moves and and then wrestling lessons and you're learning new moves, because I kind of relatively go back to back on fights. As soon as you're starting to get something new, it's like, oh no, we got this guy now. So now we have to get rid of all of that. We need to focus on this specific thing simply because this person does this or that person does that. So I just feel like I haven't given myself enough time to solely just focus on that and enjoy it. It's kind of like when I first came and to the sport, it was supposed to be 6 months. I think it was about 9 months after I actually joined the sport that I had my first MMA fight, and it's been very specific to opponents since then. So I just thought, let me give myself a break and just become a student again and enjoy being a student. I love learning stuff, so just enjoy being a student again. And it can also help me improve in an area that I just know I want to work on a bit more, especially when it comes to game day.
Do you throw on the gi ever?
Yeah. So I've been jumped back into gi as well. I've been doing gi, and I just wanted to just keep just doing as much grappling as possible. And it's definitely helpful, and that's going to continue from now on. That's 100% just part of the regime. It's always difficult again because we. For those that don't know, the guys at the London Shoot Fighters, the team there, we're known to train really intensely. So it's always hard to add additional classes and stuff. But I've had to shuffle a few things around, and I want to make this just a part of, what MVP is.
There's a young man who's a jiu-jitsu phenom named Kade Ruotolo. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's incredible.
No, those brothers are insane. I've watched multiple videos of these two boys, and I've learned a couple of things from them, especially even now as I'm kind of like focusing more on jiu-jitsu, and then I just end up watching 10 times more jiu-jitsu than I would normally. But I knew about these guys before anyway. But yeah, these boys are insane, man. Absolutely insane. I love watching them. I love their style. I love their mannerisms. Everything. I'm a fan of those guys.
I feel the same. I love their style. I love their vibe. I love their demeanor, their way of life, the way they think. And Kade is on this MMA journey now. He's 1-0. He's about to fight again next week. Wow. Yeah, he's fighting again for one. He wants to be, the best as far as MMA is concerned. So one of those rare guys who's at the top of his game in jiu-jitsu and making the transition. Youngest.
We should connect, man. We should connect,
bro. This is amazing.
Some of the stand-up stuff. You can help me with the ground.
We need to make this happen. I love this. Yes, we should connect. Around an hour ago, he was on this program. And I told him that you were coming up, and I asked him if he could impart any advice towards you as you head into your first grappling match. He was very complimentary, and I want to play you what he said, so perhaps you could take something from this. Cool. Okay, so here we go. Here's Kade Ruotolo giving MVP a pointer or two as he heads into his grappling debut.
If I had to give him one stick of advice, man, follow the wrist. A lot of wrist control. Everything in jiu-jitsu almost spirals from the hands, right? So if you could kind of track down the wrist, a lot of the time that negates 50% of their attacks and could also set up a lot of yours. So if I just had to give one little smidget of advice, track the wrist, follow the wrist.
And before that, he actually was very complimentary. We didn't have that part in there, but he was very complimentary of you. Was very excited about you going into jiu-jitsu and having a grappling match this weekend. So what do you think of that advice?
That's cool. No, it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm definitely gonna to lock that in just for the last few days, and then obviously continue in my continued jiu-jitsu journey. But yeah, definitely we have to figure out a way to get together at some point. Obviously not before this one, but definitely in future.
Man, those boys. 19 years old, he won ADCC, and then he wins CJI in August. He wins the $1 million, and now
The
he's
million.
going.
Yeah, I watched that. We had a guy on the same show, Owen Flanagan. I've been doing some work with him. He's arguably one of the greatest jiu-jitsu guys in Europe. And obviously definitely like top 10 in the world. And it's been great to have those kind of that kind of caliber around. So yeah, I want to seek out as many different people and get as much information as possible just to help with, you know, my continued journey.
We're going to make this happen. I'm on it, my friend. Demetrius Johnson as well is really into jiu-jitsu these days. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Man, I've seen him. I've seen some of his stuff as well. He's been his whole journey is just for me, he's the GOAT in this game, man. Like it doesn't really matter where you can. I think he can go into anything. He could do wrestling matches and still perform the way he's performing. He's an exceptional mixed martial artist. Somebody any MMA fighter could watch and learn from. 100%.
You have him as number one.
He's up there, man.
Yeah.
He's up there. So it's him and John Jones. I think for different weights, obviously, it comes different challenges and so on and so forth. But them two are up there as some of the best in the game ever to do it and ever to step in the cage.
Carlos, obviously a legend. Is this a guy, you know, he was in your weight class for so long, like, is this sort of like a dream match for you, a dream opportunity to go up there against one of the best?
Yeah, to be fair, I never thought I would ever do it, or especially in jiu-jitsu. But yeah, it's just a great matchup. So I think Polaris has done a great job to put both of us together. It's a great matchup, and 100% he's a legend. Some great fights that I've watched from, you know, just after I got into MMA. That's when I really started to look into the fights and stuff, and seeing some of his fights. Oh man, he's been through some of the wars, man. And he's actually done Polaris a few times, I believe, as well. So he's already started his journey in this space. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
Last time we spoke to you was right after your fight against Ian Gary, right before Leon fought Bilal. Are you surprised that fight went down the way in which it did?
No, I rate Bilal highly. I think he's exceptionally tough, strong, very, very strong in that division. I did feel like Leon was going to take it, but I have to, if I was to argue for Leon, I would say trying to have your body function at 6 a.m. when that is the place you're from, regardless of whatever adjustments you did in the build-up, is ridiculous. And he did almost look not even tired, just like his body wasn't responding. So I would like to see that fight again, and it's a shame he didn't get an automatic rematch. But I would have liked to see that fight again, where they're both on relative time. But yeah, I thought Bilal fought an excellent game. He stayed in his face the whole time, and I think even in my opinion, was outstriking Leon, which is what was the shock for me. And then obviously the takedowns and where he thrives, some of those lifts and dumps was unbelievable. But again, it shows, like I said, if I'm right in what I'm saying, and Leon was, you know, a little bit more fatigued and tired because of the time difference, or the time his performance, I say, then the fact that, you know, Bilal wasn't able to kill him, and in fact, Leon still landed some damage towards the end, shows you how good Leon is, and this is why I want to see it happen again.
Well, I'm certainly happy you said that and not me, because when I suggested this a couple of weeks ago, Bilal threw a fit saying that I was a hater and not giving him his props. I just thought that situation benefited the American more than the Brit, because the American could just stay on his own time zone. Even when he got to England, he just stays on American time. The other guy had to change his whole sleep schedule for 2 months. How could that not be a factor? And you could bring up Tom Aspinall looking great in the co-main, but not everyone is built the same. Tom had, in my opinion, for lack of a better word, like a less tough matchup on his hands than Leon did, because Bilal is so good. So I wasn't trying to take anything away from him, but to just dismiss that as a factor, I think is a little bit unfair. And you bring it up, so it sounds like you feel the same.
Yeah, I think so. I think from Bilal's point of view, what it is, and I can understand from his point of view, is he's taken the long road to get to where he's gotten to now. And for a lot of people criticizing him, for a lot of people doubting him. So then obviously when you achieve it, having any form of doubt or second guessing on your name can be triggering. And I know how you are, and I think we're in agreement here. We don't mean any disrespect by it, but I can understand why he's also triggered by it, because it's like, look, I've finally done it, despite the hurdles that was put in my way, and then people still have something to say. And I don't mean in that sense. I feel like he rightfully deserves to be up there. I just feel like it would be good to see it again. And as talented as he is, he could definitely get it done again. So I don't think he has anything to kind of to sweat about.
By the way, Shavkat Bilal in December, who do you like?
Again, I actually said it the other day, actually. I still think Bilal. A lot of people are saying Shavkat. I'm going to go the opposite way. I do think he will surprise a couple of people. I think the fight, if he plays a very similar game and stays in his face, he's also got the element of the takedown as well. You just got to be careful, because Shavkat's grips are insane. So you just got to be careful of where he's, when he's doing his takedowns, where he's placing his neck and so on and so forth. But I think he could be the aggressor in this one. And Shavkat's not used to people coming towards him and fighting him head on. Jeff Neal was the one person that did it, and now look how that fight was. It was a lot closer than he's maybe accustomed to. So I actually think Bilal can get this one.
Have you started to think about when you'd like to return and against who?
Yeah, not like I said, I just wanted to kind of see the year out, focusing on my ground, and next year being aggressive. But I don't know why, like the hairs on the back of my neck went up when I heard Shara Bullet call out my boy Izzy. I was just like, man, my boy Izzy is working on regaining that throne. Like, let me jump in. I'm happy to do it. Let me jump in. You're talking about being the best striker. He says in his division, but I'm grappling in your division, so why not?
You like that one at 185, moving up to fight him?
At 185, happy to jump up.
Wow, for that fight. I would love that. What'd you think of his knockout on Saturday, the double spinning back fist?
Ooh, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I really enjoyed that, and it was definitely something that he's drilled before. Yeah, so I really liked that. He said it was his brother or something that showed him it early, and it's a very nice shot. I might have to incorporate that as well.
The vibe between you two, like, I mean, you got to admit, the guy's got a presence, right? The guy's got a look. He's something.
100%. I love that, but this is why, when it comes to striking, I just fear nobody. And like I said, the likeliness is I bet I get him to try and take me down.
Really?
That's what I feel. I bet I get him to try and do something. He's gonna get panicky in some way, shape, or form. I bet I get him to try to take me down. But if he doesn't and stands with me, then I think it's gonna be an exceptional MMA fight.
Have you guys thrown this one out there? Like, have you sent out feelers?
Nah, this is the first time.
Okay.
Second round. I think someone asked me the other day.
Yes. So he talked about February 1st in Saudi. Would that be too soon for you?
No way. That's perfect.
Oh.
I do want to get back out in February. Like I said, I want to start the next year aggressive, and then just be, push aggressively, fight after fight after fight for the rest of that year. So February sounds good to me.
Is this like, let's say you do this and you're successful, would you stay at 85? Is this the start of an 85 chapter, or would you go right back down to 70?
I don't know. Like I said, something just tickled me when he started speaking after watching his fight, and I was just like, I'd like that fight. No, I don't know if I do. I still feel like I have unfinished business at 170. So I'm not going to say I'm moving up this year, but it also I'm definitely I can definitely see that in my future. So not right now. Let me try and handle some more business at 170, and then you'll see me move up, I'm sure.
Meaning maybe you end your career at 185 for good?
Yeah, I think so. I can see myself doing that. Again, it just makes it 10 times easier on my body. It's weird because I don't find it that difficult. It's always strenuous. I think it's strenuous for everybody, regardless of how easy or tough it is getting the weight off. But if I can take a little bit of stress off myself, then why not?
There are rumblings about a return to England in March. Is this something that has to happen for you before your time in the UFC is done? Are you jonesing for one of those cards, or you don't really care at this point because you fought in England a bunch?
Oh, I thought it was April, but yeah,
March, April, yeah.
Yeah, if it's April, that kind of works out perfect. If I do get a fight in February, I'm looking to be straight back out in April. So that would be amazing. That'd be an amazing start to the year. So yeah, if it is April, I'll definitely jump back on it. But I'm not stressing. I know for a fact I will eventually get on one of those UK cards. There's no way they can do a UFC in the UK and not have MVP. Bless them. Bless the cage. Bless the. You'll see a very big difference in the audience, in the crowd, in the noise made in there when I step into that arena.
By the way, just curious, your last opponent, Ian Gary's still trying to get that fight against Colby. It doesn't look like it's happening, at least for now. How do you think that goes?
It's a difficult one. Obviously, Colby's been out for a little while now. I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know if it's an injury or whatnot, but it's a difficult one. I think it is just typical striker versus grappler. And the reason I know Colby's good at punching, but Ian is fast. He's got the reach, and he's got good timing on a lot of his striking. So it is going to be based on the grappling side. I think the first round, maybe if he focuses heavy on grappling, even if Ian's defending a lot, it's going to take it out of his arms, and then it will allow Colby to maybe get a little bit deeper on his punches and his kicks and maybe land something. But I think he's going to be in danger up until that happens, just because of, again, his striking ability is good.
What's ITM Productions?
Yeah, so In the Moment Productions, I've just started a production company, with my boy Kish, and he's absolutely exceptional. We actually started it more so documenting the filming of. We started filming myself from just before I signed to the UFC, when I was actually figuring out what direction I was going to be going in. And we just literally just been documenting ever since. We did the first episode, or it's going to be, we want multiple episodes, and then hopefully I can push it onto a big company such as like Netflix, just to kind of tell my story. Not many people get to see that side of me, and it's just something I wanted to get out there. But then continuing, we're going to be doing like short movies and a few other like documentary style things as well.
I love it. Look at you. A little grappling, a little production, MMA, the DJing, of course. We all remember that. Yeah. The turntable. I mean, I
got you up dancing, man.
Yes, and I'm. If you break it out, I'll do it again. I feel it. I have that soul. I have that soul. A lot of people don't know this, but I have it. I can't wait to see this on Saturday. I'll be watching. I love it. Amazing. Shout out to you for putting yourself in this position, going out of your comfort zone. Not a lot of people at this age would do that with your accomplishments and your resume. You're in the midst of this UFC career, just starting. It's a very, very impressive thing that you're willing to humble yourself and do that. So well done to you, my man.
I feel like I want to leave the legacy of being a true martial artist all around. So it's always jumping into different scenarios that forces me to feel that pain, but then also grow from it.
Go well, as they say. Do your thing.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. We'll be watching. Thanks, as always, for the time.
Always, man. Take care.
There he is, the great Michael Venom Page. How great was that moment, bringing up Kade Ruotolo to him, and he just lights up. Love that. We got to get those guys together. We got to get those guys, because Kade was excited too. Kade was excited about, hearing that MVP was making the transition, and he was clearly a fan of his as well. So I love that. I absolutely love that. Let's make that happen. Kate's got a great vibe. This man has a great vibe. Our next guest has a great vibe as well. In a moment, we are going to be talking to one of the Canadians, one of many, who are competing this Saturday at the. I think it's Rogers Arena. Is it Rogers Place, Rogers Arena? No, Rogers Arena is in Vancouver, so this would be Rogers Place, the home of your Edmonton Oilers. Rogers Place. Wow, what a beautiful venue this is. What an absolute beaut of a venue it is. I was there a couple times. One of them was the Shevchenko-Nunes fight. The other was Frankie Edgar against Max Holloway. Yeah, in Edmonton. And there are several Canadians, as always, competing on the card. And one of those is our old friend Mike Malott, who, of course, we last saw back in action in January. So it has been some time. He's going up against Trevin Giles, who he has competed against, but not in MMA. In a grappling match, he was successful. This is a big fight for him, a big opportunity for him. He is one of the faces of Canadian MMA. And he is kind enough to join us once again here on the program live from Edmonton. There he is, proper Mike in the house. Hello, Mike. How are you?
What's going on, Ariel? Thanks for having me on, bro.
Great to talk to you again. It has been a while. Looking forward to this. Another big Canadian card. Of course, you had to be a part of it. By the way, have you been to that arena before? Have you been inside Rogers Place?
No, I've never been to the arena before. I fought in Edmonton once about 10 years ago. But no, I've never been to this arena.
It's one of the nicest arenas that I've ever been inside. As far as a North American hockey NBA arena, it's fantastic. So they're going to treat you well over there. I absolutely love it. And like I said, big opportunity for you, another big fight for you. I saw a clip courtesy of UFC Canada where you were talking about how you were feeling going into this fight coming off the Neil Magny fight. And you said a couple of things that really jumped out at me. Number one, you said that you were feeling great. It's been a great camp, maybe your best. And often we hear that. But you did say that your confidence is sky high. And that was the first thing that I was wondering about, just considering how the last fight went. So why are you so confident going into this fight? Again, considering what happened in the late stages of that fight against Neil Magny.
Yeah, it's almost weird to say like I'm the most confident I've ever been after coming off a loss. I think there's a few things that kind of contribute to that. Number one, I was really confident going into my last fight. And while I didn't get the win, I won about 14 minutes or 13 and a half minutes of that fight and showed that I have some pretty high level skills and I'm a well-rounded fighter. The last minute or so went about as bad as it can go in the last little bit. So there were obviously some holes that I needed to seal and obviously some things in my game that I needed to tighten up, whether it's decision-making or a lot of stuff for the last 9 months that we spent figuring out. But we've put so much effort the last 9 months into making sure that this never happens again that I feel like those holes are sealed. I feel like I'm making better decisions. I feel like I'm a lot sharper. I feel like my whole game has grown, but I've kind of come at it from every angle. I'm like, okay, how can I become a better athlete? How can I become a better martial artist? How can I become a better fighter? I kind of think of fighting as that like holy trinity, the athlete, the martial artist, and the fighter. And, outside of fighting, it's, the mind, body, spirit connection. I think that's like the fighting version of that. So I'm like, all right, man, how do we attack this from all angles? Like it would be so much easier to just say like, if I just done a couple things differently at the end of the fight, like I would have held on and won a decision and I beat that guy 9 times out of 10, like whatever, man, don't take it to heart. It's like, no, man, let's take it to heart for a little bit. Let's spend some time really thinking about how we can make massive improvements and make sure that something like that never happens again. And then I can be even more free throughout the rest of the fight. So I think that's where this confidence comes from, is like, we spent a lot of time figuring out what I need to do in order to grow and improve. And this was a grueling training camp, man. Like physically, I feel incredible as far as like health, injury wise, no injuries. I feel great. But man, I did some stuff this training camp that was so physically and mentally difficult. It pushed me to a whole nother level. But even like in the last week, when you kind of have a little bit of ups and downs, like, oh man, I got to fight next week. It's like, it's been giving me that confidence of like, yeah, but you did those things. Remember when you did that? Remember when you were nervous on the way to the gym and you're like, I just hope somebody rear ends me so I don't have to go to the gym and actually thing because this is going to be so brutal. Like this is going to suck. There's no way it's not going to be one of the worst things I've ever done. But I got through those things, and it's given me like so much more confidence coming into a fight, being like, look, regardless of the outcome of my last fight, that's the kind of man I am. It's like I'll reassess the hell out of myself and find a way to improve and look at myself objectively as best I can and do the things that are necessary to truly find growth.
What are you referring to there? Like that is pretty intense stuff, saying that you hope someone rear ends you so that you don't make it to the gym because you're dreading it so much. What are these things that are giving you this anxiety that you were doing?
Just really hard training sessions. I'm not going to go into detail because we took a long time figuring that stuff out. And I think that's a great tool for me. And I think other fighters can go figure out their own stuff.
Fair enough.
But man, yeah, it was just really, really grindy sessions at times. And, it's difficult to find those things sometimes, especially after my last fight, because I'm not the kind of guy who just like messed around throughout my career. And I'm like, I had a loss in the UFC. Now I'm going to really tighten it up and try hard. Like I go into fights confident because I know I've done everything I possibly can. So coming up short last time, I'm like, man, like it almost hits a little bit harder. It almost, you'd almost have a little bit of that safety net knowing like, yeah, but I didn't like actually try as hard as I could. So next time I'll just like train harder and prepare better. And then I'll win. I'm like, no, man, I was giving it everything I felt like I could at the time, but just kind of reallocating resources and restructuring things. And like I said, looking at it from an athletic perspective, within athletic, it's like, okay, nutrition, strength, conditioning, all sorts of things. All right. From a fighting perspective, strategy, technique, when to go, when to slow, when to, put the pace on a guy. Okay. And then from like a fighting perspective, just getting in there and having some dogfight war rounds in the gym where you just absolutely gut check and empty the tank. And at times, you have to have training partners that you trust because it's like risky doing that, like really pushing that hard. So we are rolling the dice a little bit just to try and get a little bit more out of me. But man, it worked out really well this camp.
I have to say, and I often say this, I do have a soft spot for the Canadian fighters, considering I'm Canadian as well. And my heart broke for you on that January night because you were looking so good and it was such a great fight for you and it was all coming together in Toronto and all this stuff. And so I'm just wondering, in the immediate aftermath, the day or two later, how did you come to terms with the heartbreaking end that you were looking so good for 14 minutes and what happened? How did you end up feeling in the immediate aftermath, and how did you come out of that to have this mindset that you're talking about now?
Yeah, the immediate aftermath was tough. You're like, man, I fumbled at the 5-yard line, man. I tripped at the finish line. Like I had this guy, I had this win. I don't know what the odds were going into the final 2 minutes of the fight, but it must have been like a minus 1,500 favorite or something like that. Like pretty much guaranteed I'm winning this fight. I just had an interview with Matt Serra, and it's cool to hear from veteran fighters who've kind of experienced everything, including being the world champion, like ultimate fighter champion, world champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Like, and he's like, he brought up his Shoney Carter fight where he got spinning back fist, and he's like, fights like that, you have to find ways to forgive yourself and recognize like you were doing well. It happened. How do we move past that? And it was nice to hear that from him, especially like that kind of empathy from a guy like him. And yeah, he kind of hit the nail on the head. Like we really dissected my game. We dissected the way I prepare for fights. We dissected everything. Like how can we grow as much as possible without like reinventing the wheel? Like I did well for, like we said, I did well for like 14 minutes. So it's not like, oh man, throw out everything that you've been doing. You need to completely rewrite everything. You need to move to a new country and fire all your coaches. It's like a lot of the stuff went really well, but it's like, how do we get a little more juice out of you? How do we just make sure that it's 15 minutes of winning the fight if it's going to go the distance, or we get the stoppage? A lot of that's just time in the gym. You're sitting in the back and you're like, shit, what do I do? Like, a couple things jump out, obviously, for me, which, again, I'm going to keep close to myself, but keep the cards close to my chest. But there were a couple things that jumped out at me as like, that was the wrong thing to do there. Or that was a bad decision. Or like, this is what I felt. And I need to, changed the way I reacted to that. So from like a strategic perspective, but there are some things where it's like, you're not going to fix it on the shuttle ride home or back to the hotel after the fight. Like you can't solve every problem right then and there. When you're taking 2 weeks off to let your body recover and go to physio and all this stuff right after the fight, you're going to sit there and it's going to suck because you can't really do much about it. Like you can't get in the room and fix things right away when you need to heal up for a week or two. So you kind of have to sit in it and soak in it and just be like, look, this feeling sucks. Let's do what we can to make sure it never happens again. But just getting back on the horse and getting back in the gym and getting back in a routine and trusting the process, but constantly checking and adjusting the process. Like that's been what's given me this confidence, is like, we got back on the horse and we fixed a lot of things and did some new stuff this camp to push me to that next level. And yeah, I think that's where that confidence is coming from.
How long before you got back into a rhythm at the gym? Like, did you take some time to lick your wounds, or did you jump right back in there?
I had a few injuries from kind of camp and from the fight. So I took a little time to recover, kind of like 2 weeks to recover, and then got back into the gym for a week or two just to get my body going again. And one of the first things I did was go down to the PI and just look at, again, kind of isolate the athleticism side of my game. Like, okay, what can we do conditioning wise? What can we do strength wise? What can we do nutrition wise? Take that and implement that in my game as much as possible. Like, I think it's easy to get too lost in any one aspect of MMA because there's so much stuff in this game. I think it's easy to get like lost in like numbers of strength and conditioning. Like, oh, if I get my deadlift up to this number, or I get my my minutes per mile at this heart rate to here, then this will solve all my problems. Or if I can just get my weight up to here, whatever, you can kind of get lost in that a little bit and get away from MMA. So I think taking all the advice that they gave me from the PI and implementing some of the program stuff to the training that we're already doing, I think that was like a really good call as like a base to build everything again before heading back into camp. But my first week back into MMA, which was about a month after my fight, into like live going hard, I took a couple weeks to lick my wounds, got back into kind of getting back into training and strength conditioning and going down to the PI and getting my numbers. And then I flew back from the PI, and Aaron Jeffrey, one of my main training partners, who's one of the best middleweights in Bellator, was fighting Fabian Edwards, and he was like a few weeks out from the fight and came back from Florida. He's like, hey man, I need some sparring partners. Like, this guy's hurt, that guy's hurt. And it was like my first day back was just, hey, can you just fight AJ in the cage today? I'm like, God damn it. Like, yeah, I'll do it. This is be awful. But it was almost kind of, because I didn't get hurt doing it, it ended up like working out like almost right away. I forget what they call it, but like that fear therapy or whatever, where it's like, just throw you right back into this dude's a weight class up from you. He makes almost no mistakes. He doesn't slow down. He's strong as an ox. He's in shape for a fight, and you haven't really done anything in a month. Fight him. Like, okay, well, you just had to have that like exposure therapy. You know what I mean? Like, all right, it's not going to get much worse than this. And then, had a bunch of other stuff that we ended up implementing.
It's interesting that you mentioned speaking to Matt Serra. That's an iconic fight. The fight that I thought of in the exact moment, and I don't know if you have a relationship with him or if you thought of this later down the line as well, was Rory McDonald versus Carlos Condit at UFC 115. That was 453. You were 445, but it was so reminiscent. It was just as heartbreaking. It was his debut, second fight, I believe, but just very reminiscent. Do you know which fight I'm talking about? And did that come to mind ever? Or did you go back and look at how that all played out?
I haven't gone back and watched the fight, but yeah, I remember that fight. Like, Rory's one of my favorite fighters of all time. And so is Condit, man. I love Condit. Like, my young version of me before I started getting around guys who know how to wrestle, I was like, I just got to be a Carlos Condit. Like, I don't know how to wrestle. They're going to take me down. I got to submit them and flying knee them and this and that. But yeah, I mean, it was almost exactly like that fight, two Canadian kind of prospects and kind of a lot of hype around both of us. And that's how it ends at the very end. But then go on to look at the guy's career, man. He had an unbelievable career. Fought for the UFC world title, was a Bellator world champion, like probably the second best Canadian MMA fighter of all time. So, he was younger than I am now, but it doesn't mean like my career is going to model his exactly
No,
or
of
whatever,
course.
but it's almost reassuring to see like you can get through the other side.
Of course. Of course. These losses don't define you, and you get a big win on Saturday, it's all forgotten, right? You've also said if you could be on every one of these Canadian cards, sign you up, you would love that. There is a level of pressure that comes with it, right? Like there's a massive spotlight on you. Is there any part of you that thinks you put too much pressure on your shoulders to fly that flag, to be that guy, to be the next Roy, to be the next GSP, where if you're fighting in Vegas or any other place in the world, that narrative isn't really a thing on fight week?
I think I maybe put a little bit too much pressure on myself for the last one, or felt that weight of being like, I have to be the guy. It's not, I love fighting in Canada, and I still want to be the guy who fights in Canada every card. I'd much rather fight in Canada than anywhere else. I think it's just more like a personal choice and where you want to put your energy. Like I've kind of made this journey a little more selfish again than I did heading into January, where it was like felt like a little bit more of the torchbearer, and I need to wear this hat a little bit. Now I'm like, I feel like I'm back to doing this more for me and more for like self-validation rather than like, rather than doing it for other people. I think that's really it's the only fight I've really felt like I was doing it for other people. And the only fight I've really gone out and like felt like I need to force a finish and have to finish the guy rather than just go out and be free and be myself. And it was like one of the only fights that I didn't get a finish, So I've kind of gotten back to just being a little bit more selfish in the way that I view my career and my role in the UFC and like Canadian MMA. And I think the rest will just take care of itself. It's like, don't focus on the stuff that doesn't actually happen in the cage. It's not that, none of that really actually affects the way you perform in the cage if you don't let it. Like it's the fight in the cage. Did you prepare? Did you do everything this camp that you think you possibly could have done to prepare yourself as best as possible? 100% I did. And that sentence alone this week, anytime you feel that little bit of like, okay, it's a fight week, we're here, I'm like, did you do everything you possibly could? Yes. All right, man. Well, I'm proud of myself then. Like that's all it is. It's like you can't always control outcomes, obviously. Last time didn't go the way I wanted to right at the very end. But man, I'm really proud of the way I've bounced back from this in my life and preparing for fights, and the way my team has like really rallied behind me. Like there was obviously a ton of negativity, like a shocking amount of negativity around my loss, and like people reaching out to express negative energy toward me, which I was kind of surprised about. But there was also the opposite. There was a ton of positive feedback from the fight. People are just like, dude, you were so close. Like, we know you're gonna be back better than ever, and this is only gonna make you better. And I'm doing my best to just focus on, if I focus on any other external energy, it's that positive energy, but mostly like not on social media a ton anymore. I'm not putting my thoughts or my energy in those ways. Focus on myself and my team. And yeah, man, I'm really just genuinely excited to be back here for fight week, to be back signing posters, to be ready to have another fight in the UFC. Like that's what it is, man. I was the kid who just like had UFC posters on my wall when I was a kid, and like was obsessed with all these killers that like I idolized, that were superheroes to me. And it's like, I get to do that now. Like I get to do that. And you did everything you possibly could. Like, go have fun, man. This is an absolute privilege and blessing.
Isn't it amazing? You probably would have dreamed of a scenario where you're just a part of the fabric of the UFC. You're not the token Canadian. You're not making your debut. You're just a guy on the roster. Oh, it's Mike Malott's 5th UFC fight. You would have dreamed of this. You would have done anything for this, and now here you are. And so that's a great way to look at things, and I'm happy you're not putting too much stock into those comments. It blows me away, like someone like you, who probably doesn't say a negative thing about anyone, who is as classy and respectful and professional as it gets shit thrown on him because he lost a fight and was perfect except for the last minute. I will never understand the person that would send an athlete those types of comments, and I'm happy that you've you've cut that out of your life? Do you just not even go at all, or do you just limit? How are you dealing with that, especially leading up to the fight? Because it's wasted space. Your mind is not a hotel room. You can't allow people to check in and out of it. That's what a smart man once told me, and I wish I used that more in my life, but I like to repeat it whenever it's necessary.
That's a great motto. I've just been spending less time on social media for sure, but also just like putting less focus on like what somebody says. It's like, oh my God, this guy said this about me. I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? Like, I don't care, man. Who are you? Dude, the same guy who says that stuff would probably, if they saw me on the street, be like, oh man, I've seen UFC. Yeah. And then now because you're behind your phone, you're like, ooh, I can like just affect this. I can contact this guy and try and affect him in a negative way. It's almost never from people who are doing well in their lives. It's never from people who are like positive and good and good for their communities. And, so I just put stock in, try to put stock and focus on the positive stuff. And like you said, like I try to represent myself well, like, put my best foot forward and think about it almost in a way of like, I don't have kids right now, but, there will be a day, 15 years from now or 20 years from now when I've got a teenager who's just like, what was my dad actually like before, I was born? Was he a piece of shit, or was he like an all right guy? And I just like, I want to, have that stuff kind of set up for, my kids or like, next Canadian generation. See, like, I want to represent them well and see that you don't have to be like a bad person who says personal things about somebody's religion or family or way they live their life in order to like sell pay-per-views and like sell your soul to like make money and be in this sport. Like you can just be yourself and win fights and people will tune in.
By the way, you mentioned earlier being selfish. It would be selfish. You're doing this for yourself, and that could be viewed multiple ways. I do believe over the summer you got married. So how does congratulations. And by the way, I never got the invitation. I didn't get to save the date, nothing. I was waiting for it. It just never came through the mail. But you guys look fantastic and delighted for you. What a scene that is, by the way. Where are we here? Is this Lake Ontario? Where is that?
No, that's Muskoka. So Lake of Bays in Muskoka by Dorset.
Wow.
We kind of grew up going there in the summers and stuff. And my parents bought a spot there maybe 10 years ago. And yeah, we kept it for that exact reason, for the like, where was my invite? We kept it to her parents, siblings, my siblings. Like we had 9 guests there. It was great, man.
Wow.
We planned most of it in an afternoon. My sisters and my mom and her mom helped to just like plan some stuff out, but it was like zero stress. It was just so fun and nice. Like just did the quick ceremony on the boat and got married on there and just spent it with like the immediate. It's just in my mind, it was like, we're just merging the families. Like this is where I want the energy to be and not worried about like, is one of my alpha male teammates going to get too drunk and start talking to my grandma at the table.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
You don't need that. You don't need that. No, that sounds wonderful.
Been some great stories out of that for sure. But just like, I also just didn't want to spend a year planning a wedding and spend like $100,000 on a wedding. And I feel like that's what most people are doing now. And I'm like, that's outrageous. I have zero interest in that. I just want to show the woman I love that I want to spend the rest of my life with her.
Seems like you did that. I'm just wondering how the selfish part of things ties into being a newlywed. Do you feel like you're less present, or are you talking about it from a different perspective? Because you're gearing up for a fight, you do have to be selfish, right? You're cutting weight. You're a little bit, you're a little bit moody, maybe. You're beat up. You're tired. So how's that balance going?
I feel like, maybe I'm getting a talk after the fight from her, but I've been doing a good job of just, shutting that off when I get into the house. And, she'll ask me how the day is and how training's been, and I'll talk to her a little bit about it. But a lot of the times I'm like, look, we're at the house. I just want to spend time with you. Or I just, when we're together, I just want it to be like our time. I don't want it to be like fight time. And she's super understanding and just ridiculously low maintenance about stuff like that. She's like, yeah, man, I'll just take care of myself in that way. And she's just sweet about stuff. Been cooking meals for me all training camp and stuff.
Perfect.
So stuff. And yeah, she was a nutrition major in university too. So just like, she cooks super healthy and just a great partner.
You're a lucky man. You got the right one. Well done. That is amazing.
I told that girl I loved her on our second date, man. I didn't waste any time.
Wow,
Like,
you didn't play the game. You didn't do the, you need to wait 5 days, this and that. You just went right in.
Well, technically, it was like 5 weeks between dates because we met and then I went back to California and we FaceTimed pretty much every day. But then when I got back, I told her I loved her on that second technical date. But I hadn't had an actual real relationship for 9 years before I met her. And I was like, no, this one, you don't mess this one up. It's like, I'd rather do everything. I'd rather like put my heart on my sleeve too much and her be like, dude, this is our second date and you love me. I'm out of here, and be like, well, I tried, like rather than be like, oh no, I'm going to play it cool and just like, try and play the game. I'm like, no, man, we're not playing any games. This is how I feel. You want to get married? Let's do it.
Did she reciprocate when you said it?
Oh yeah. The first thing she said was, she's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And we kind of like laughed for a while. And she said she let me back. So.
Oh my gosh. If she would have said really and then laughed and there was a pause and didn't say it back, that would have been rough, no?
Sat and soaked it, man. That's what it is. That's how I felt.
Well done.
I didn't feel that way exclusively to feel it back. That's how I felt.
That's a good point. Could I ask about rematching Trevin Giles? This time in MMA, of course, you beat him in a grappling match. Do you take anything from that? Do you even watch that? Is there anything? Obviously, it's a completely different set of rules here, but is there anything you could take from that first encounter?
I mean, just the biggest thing is I've already grabbed a hold of the guy, which is kind of the weirdest thing before a fight. Sometimes you're like, okay, what's this guy going to feel like?
Yeah.
This guy going to just be an absolute horse. And like, he feels like a welterweight. He's a strong, athletic guy, solid fighter, but obviously wasn't too much for me to handle that night. And I am extremely confident I'm going to have a great performance against this guy on Saturday. I feel like I have him covered everywhere. Like, I already beat him once in a grappling match, so I know I can out-grapple him. And my striking is feeling better than it's ever felt, so I know I can outstrike this guy. And my conditioning feels the best it's ever felt. My MMA awareness and IQ feels as sharp as way sharper than it's ever felt. So I feel like every box has been checked, every stone has been turned. It's just make weight and show up and do what I do.
What about this guy, legend of the MMA scene, Shirt Guy Lee? He made this T-shirt. Have you seen this T-shirt? I don't want to mess it up because I messed it up before our show. I think it goes, how does it go? It goes, I'm here for Mike. I like him a lot. Oh, and you retweeted it.
Wait. Yeah, let's go. Oh, I did retweet it.
There it is. There it is. You retweeted it. Shirt Guy Lee's a legend, by the way. I met this kid like back in 2010. He gave me a Helwani T-shirt. That's a Canadian MMA fan legend right there. I like that shirt. Has he given it to you?
Not yet. No. And that's a solid Canadian humor pun right there. I love that.
It's great. I actually screwed it up when I read it the first time. I thought I like him a lot, but it's I like him a lot. By the way, how's our friend Jasmine doing? Jasmine?
That's the busiest.
We use her name on the show because I always mess it up. She's right here by my side all the time. How's she doing? She's fighting on the card as well.
She's awesome, man. She's just sick energy to be around. Like, this training camp's been great. Like, Siri Sadi trains with us too. So seeing him once or twice a week, he comes into the room. She's a 125 woman. He's a 135 man. Like, I'm not doing rounds with them, but just having their good energy be in the room and just even like walking on a Monday and just like 3 weeks out, hey, how you feeling? Like going through that together and then being here with these guys fight week. It's been great. And just like, just vibing, man. They're great people, like friends for life outside of fighting. And she looks great in the gym. She's absolute workhorse. So yeah, man, I'm super psyched for her.
Love it. Well, I wish you the best, truly. I have a great feeling about this. You seem to have the right mindset, dare I say, a proper mindset going into the fight, and we're all behind you, my friend. So get it done. All the best to you and your family. Good luck on Saturday, and looking forward to this return very, very much. Can't thank you enough.
Thank you very much, Ariel. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there he is, proper Mike Malott, competing on Saturday in Edmonton at the beautiful Rogers Place. If you've never had the opportunity, they have a nice location in the front with all the Stanley Cups, Wayne Gretzky stuff, Yari Curry, Paul Coffey, Mark Messier. I mean, a real who's who.
Quick
unfortunately,
question.
Yes.
Multiple Stanley Cups?
Oh yeah,
There was only one.
Well, they've won multiple Stanley Cups.
Okay, so they have like replicas.
No. Oh yes. I mean, of course.
I'm not even being facetious. I just was.
No, like if you go to a Chicago Bull, like if you go to the United Center where the Bulls play, there's the 6 Larry O'Brien trophies. I guess they give replicas to the teams.
Got it.
and they keep going. So the same with Stanley Cup. Well, I mean, I'm having a moment there.
I wanted to enjoy the moment, and I got scared that there's like multiple Stanley Cups out there.
No, I think they keep the one. I think they keep the one, and then if you win it, you get to put it on display. Usually, teams will put it in their office, things like that. But in Edmonton, what I thought was really cool is that it's just right there. It's kind of like near the media center, so I don't know if the fans can see it. But one thing that's cool about the media room where they do the press conferences, there's a window to the outside world, sort of like this window, and the fans are all there at 1 a.m. banging on the window, and Valentina Shevchenko is doing a post-fight press conference. I remember that being very memorable. Have you ever been to Edmonton, Frank?
No, I have not.
They've got a wonderful mall over there. It's called is it called the Great Edmonton Mall? Great Edmonton Mall. Is that what it's called? The West Edmonton Mall. The West Edmonton Mall.
This just in from On Air Jordan.
Yes, tell me.
No, the Edmonton Oilers do not have a Stanley Cup in Rogers Place.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I thought maybe this would make more sense to you.
They have them on display. Have they won a Stanley Cup while playing in Rogers Place? No. They made it to the final game 7 against the Florida Panthers in June. They have yet to win. I've got to do something right now. Please excuse me.
Have they won a Stanley Cup?
Oh,
Don't forget you have a button to mute yourself if you want to do that in silence.
We could have done a switch cam too, but we just left full
Yeah, you
volume.
just left me.
Because when you're like, I have to do something.
And I didn't get
I
it.
had no idea what you were going to do.
I didn't get it, by the way. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to go again?
No.
We'll switch cameras.
No, I didn't get
Hey,
it.
don't switch the cameras.
No.
Oh, I'm still latched.
You're just,
I like this shirt today, man. It looks good. Is that Lulu?
yeah,
I mean,
you
it
know
looks
you're
good.
so-
It looks
just for my guy Mike. You like that? I mean, listen, are we in an official relationship? No. Are we courting each other? Perhaps. You could say that.
Those fighting words.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Mike Malott or are you talking about Lululemon?
Wow. I think he got confused when you played the Jazz Division sound. I think he was like, "What? Where is that coming from?"
Jazz Division.
Yeah. How do we feel, by the way? Oh, you know what? Someone asked me, GC, in one of those comments, we went right through it. They asked for some Canadian locks. Do you got any of those for us? And I don't mean like Canadian smoked salmon. I mean like locks. Do you have anything, or is that coming tomorrow?
Mike Malott. But that is coming tomorrow. Full breakdown.
Full breakdown coming tomorrow.
UFC Edmonton, yeah. Boys in the back. New pound for pound rankings. Halloween candy tomorrow.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be a great show.
You
No, you're
coming to the show tomorrow, Ariel?
Yeah, I'll be there.
It's gonna be a great show.
Or maybe I won't. We could talk about that later. For now, though, let's go to our next guest. I've, in fact, wanted to have this gentleman on for quite some time. Big fan of his, love watching him fight, and he returns to action back in his hometown of Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center in a little over a week, November 9th to be exact. It's back on DAZN, his second fight under the Matchroom umbrella. He's one of the very best boxers in the world, one of the very best 147-pounders in the world. He is the pride of Philadelphia. He's the one and only Jaron Boots Ennis. He's kind enough to join us. There he is. Hello, my man. How are you?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's great to talk to you. It's great to have you on. I appreciate this very much. Looking forward to you returning. Second fight with Matchroom. How's it going so far? Are you happy with the move from PBC to Matchroom?
Everything is going great. I'm excited to be back. Can't wait. I'm ready to go.
When you signed with them, was the plan always back-to-back fights in Philly?
The plan is to fight whenever, whoever, and wherever. I just just to stay busy. And just keep getting better.
Well, I watched a bunch of your fights on Showtime and PBC and whatnot, and they put you on some big cards and they featured you. I felt with your walkout, with the vibe, with the arena and the crowd, I was like, okay, this is what Boots has needed and this is what he has deserved for quite some time. Like, it never felt like you truly got that spotlight on you. Once it was all said and done, did you feel the same way? Like, yeah, I'm the freaking man. I could sell at Wells Fargo. I could sell at an arena. I could headline. I deserve to be the man on the marquee. It was nice to finally get that.
Oh yeah, it was a blessing. To be able to get that. And be the first fight at the Wells Fargo Center. That was crazy. And we made history. It was 15,000, 16,000 plus. So that was crazy, and I think this one's gonna be even better.
Your performance in that fight back in July, you were happy with it overall?
My performance was okay. You know, I watched the fight back a few times. You know, like I said, I felt rusty for sure. Even though I be in the gym, all the time. When you're not fighting frequently and sitting around waiting, sometimes you get a little stale. I definitely was off a little bit. My timing was off. Like punches that I usually like land, I was missing. I'm like, but it was cool. I got the job done out, and I got to knock out the stoppage. And that's all that matters. This makes for even better, performance this time out.
Did you feel any extra nerves, anxiety, pressure because it was the big homecoming for you?
I actually like fighting at home. It don't phase me. I'd rather be home. It's easy. I don't got to sit in a hotel. I can sleep at my house. Everything's just easier when you're at home. And I feel way comfortable being at home, fighting at home.
Did you just stay at home the entire fight week? Like, did you drive from your home to the arena on Saturday night?
Yeah, I was driving back and forth. Yep.
Amazing.
From my house.
Same time this time. Same thing this time around.
Yeah, same thing this time around. I get home cooked meals. I don't got to go out, go out and get food. It just, I love it. It's no pressure. It's actually extra motivation.
Okay, so now shoot straight with me. The hardcore fans, when they found out that you were rematching Karen Chukhadzhian, they were like, "Damn, this is not what we wanted for Boots. We wanted something bigger. We've seen this fight. It wasn't the greatest fight of all time. He was running around like we don't need this again." What was your reaction when you found out that this was going to be the fight?
I mean, at the end of the day, my main objective is to get these belts, and then I was pushing hard to collect these belts and be undisputed and at least unify, and that was my goal. Those things fell out, and I had to fight my mandatory. So, it is what it is. I really don't really care. I'm ready to go in there and put on a show, have fun, and look better this time. And just do my thing.
Considering you were talking about, potential Norman fight, potential, there was the Crawford thing initially that kind of dissipated rather quickly. When you just have to come to terms with the fact that you're fighting a guy that you already beat, how do you get motivated in those early days of training? How do you where does that come from? Where does the drive come from? Because you already climbed this mountain and it was, it was very successful in your favor.
The motivation just come every day, just family, just in general, just putting on for my last name, legacy. That's the whole thing. Just whoever they put in front of me, I'm gonna beat. So it don't really matter. I'm gonna just keep pushing, keep going forward, and big fights gonna come, bigger fights gonna come.
I have to say, lately, I don't know, and I know you're representing the IBF here as their champ, but why is the IBF like screwing everything up lately? I feel like they just kind of get in the way a lot. Like we get the undisputed heavyweight title, then they take the belt away and they make it, for Dubois to fight an interim belt. And now with Beterbiev and Bivol, they're like, now there's the mandatory. It seems like everyone's trying to move in the direction of undisputed, and IBF's kind of out there doing their own thing. And I feel like they kind of, the fact that they said, okay, this has to be the fight, the mandatory, it kind of screwed up what you were trying to get done. Am I wrong about this?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's okay as long as I'm still fighting, and I'm able to be busy, and keep fighting. That's the whole thing, Like I said, them belts gonna come. I'm gonna grab those belts next year.
Okay, and I'm not trying to rain on the parade, but this is out there, right? People are saying they wanted something bigger for you, and I'm sure you did as well.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but like I said, at the end of the day, if I gotta fight my mandatory, I gotta fight my mandatory, and there's not no problem with that with me. This time we was gonna beat them easier this time in a better fashion.
As far as that first fight and what you're trying to implement in this fight, would you categorize that fight as a frustrating one? It was hard to catch him. It was, he was moving around. He was on the bike, as they say. How would you look back on that fight and what would you try to do differently this time around?
I watched that fight several times, and like I said, it wasn't nothing that he did. It was just more so just me, me just not listening to my corner and starting too late. Like everything that I did from the 6th, 7th round on, that I feel like I should have did that I should did that earlier, and I probably would have got the knockout, But it's a lot of things. It wasn't him. It was basically it was me, And this time around, we're gonna expect the same guy, and he ain't gonna switch up nothing up, He gonna try a boxing move and do whatever he do, and we got something for all that. I've been studying him, and I've been working on a lot of things, and come fight night, it's gonna be it's gonna be fireworks, and I can't wait. It's gonna be a spectacular night for me.
I love the promotion for this with you and Bam Rodriguez, the posters, all this stuff, the two kings. Very cool to see you two together. How do you feel about that? Him being the co-main to you being main, and then putting him on your card in your hometown. He's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And I've heard from some fans say, okay, maybe we don't love that he is fighting Karen or who Bam is fighting, but them together makes this must-see TV because they're two of the best fighters fighting on the same card.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, that's a blessing to have him, have Bam on the card. And he top 5 pound for pound, phenomenal fighter, and I'm glad I'm able to have him, on my card, like I said, me and him together is gonna make fireworks. And then, the undercard is crazy too. You got Ray Savage, you got two of my fighters with Boost Promotion, Ishmael the Chef Muhammad, and Dennis DJ Thompson. The card gonna be crazy. There's a lot of upcoming great fighters on the card, and like I said, I think this one's gonna be even better and bigger.
True or false? By the time it's all said and done, you will fight Terrence Crawford.
Hopefully it's true. Like I said, I've been asking for those fights. For that fight, I'm tired of answering them same questions. Y'all go ask him. I said yes plenty of times. I'm tired of answering them questions.
I understand that. I've asked him multiple times about it, and I've told him that I would love to see that fight happen. And the stance seems to
me too.
And the stance seems to be like, look, when I was coming up, I wanted to fight Pacquiao. He didn't want to fight me because he was at a point. And I understand that stance now, is what he says. Do you understand where he's coming from, or do you think that there's kind of a duty to, return the favor along the way?
I mean, everybody different, and I don't know. I can't speak for him, but when it's my turn and I got to fight a young lion, I definitely will, give him that opportunity.
Would you say that's your dream fight right now?
I love fighting. I love beating people up. I don't care who it is. I ain't even gonna lie. Like that's my whole thing. I want to fight any and everybody.
Fair enough. I understand. Can I ask, what's the difference between Al Heyman and Eddie Hearn?
No comment.
Is it just different styles, or?
What you mean?
Well, just in terms of their promotion, like fighting under one compared to the other. What do you like one style?
They both phenomenal people. Great people.
Yeah, and Eddie's great too. I think some people here in America don't give him the time of day, or think how De La Hoya has said it, Leonard has said it. You stay in England, but you can make a case right now. I think he's the best promoter in combat sports, regardless of combat sport.
Yeah, Eddie Hearn's got a mouthpiece. He do all the talking for you. You don't gotta do too much talking, because he gonna promote you. He gonna say everything that need to be said. All you gotta do is sit back and fight and do what you need to do, and that's one.
That would be a huge difference, right? You don't have to do as much promotion, as many interviews, things like that.
You could say that, I guess.
Yeah, he's like kind of like Don King style, Bob Arum style, as opposed to someone who's behind the scenes. I saw you ring the bell at a Sixers game recently. You're a big Philly guy, Philly sports guy. I'm a big Knicks guy, so sorry, about in the playoffs a couple months ago. But it's a good rivalry. It's fun. It's fun. I mean, your mom's from New York, is she not?
Yeah, my mom's from New York. Yep. Yeah, she definitely. She was born in Brooklyn, so.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So does she represent? Does she root for the New York teams, or is she now fully Philly? Because that's where you grew up, and that's where I think you guys. She's lived there for so long, right?
She lived there for a little while, not too long. But my mom definitely she all Philadelphia teams.
Yeah. You like Embiid?
She rock with the Phillies and the Eagles and the Flyers and all that. She like us.
Okay. Like all the loser teams, the Phillies and the.
No, we're gonna beat y'all this year.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
In basketball?
For sure. Yes.
What's the bet? What's the bet that the Sixers go further than the Knicks? What do you think? You think so? You really believe that?
Yeah, the Sixers are gonna go further than the Knicks for sure.
Man, I don't know. Embiid doesn't play. He doesn't know what it's like to win in the playoffs. Paul George, unreliable.
You're gonna see this year. That's all.
Oh, you feel it. You think you guys win? Do you think you guys are better than the Celtics?
I think so.
Really? Wow. Is he gonna play, this guy? Embiid? Like, what's going on?
Embiid, I think he's gonna play. He should be playing soon.
Okay. Because did you see he got roasted on Twitter because he was saying he was talking about the Grand Slam and he's like, holy shit, a Grand Slam in the playoffs, and people are like, oh yeah, this is what it's like, delivering in the playoffs. Something you know nothing about.
No, I ain't see that.
He got roasted. I saw you chopping down some trees over there. You do that every day?
Yeah, not every day. I do it like every other day. Just got back to my old school training with my dad and things like that, and the rest of my team. Chopping wood is very good for you. Help strengthen up their forearms and everything.
That's it. How long you do that for?
It depends. Sometimes it's 15-minute street. Sometimes it's 30-minute street. It depends.
Okay. I mean, it looks exhausting. Is that morning or nighttime?
Nighttime. Always nighttime. Everything I do is at night.
You're not one of those 4 a.m. guys?
I work out 3 to 4 times a day, so I do get up early. I had workouts in the morning, in the midday, and then I had workouts at night. So and things like that. So I do get up early. I'm not going to say I don't get up early.
When's your prime? Like, what is that? Like, is that like midnight?
Yeah, I love working out at night because I fight at night, and
that's right.
That's when I'll be feeling my best.
Let me ask you one more. There's some talk maybe a Teofimo Lopez fight could come to fruition in 25. I'm sure you're going to say you'd fight anyone. You're happy to fight anyone. But is that of interest to you? Him coming up from 140?
Bring them on. Bring them all on. Like I said, like you just said, I want to fight everybody. I want to show the world that I'm the best fighter in the world.
How far away do you think we are from that when we're talking about Boots as number one pound for pound?
Maybe like 1 or 2 fights.
1 or 2 fights. Oh, I thought you were gonna say 1 or 2 years. You're right there. You think?
Yeah, I'm right there. I just need that one name. That's all.
All right. Well, we look forward to that. Good luck on November 9th. Thank you for coming on. I wish you the best.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, there he is, Jaron Boots Ennis, going up against Karen Chukhadzhian of the Ukraine in a rematch of a fight that happened back in January of 2023.
Yeah, right in there.
Yeah, that was an interim IBF title fight and a welterweight title fight, and now he is the undisputed champion at 147 pounds for the IBF. The dastardly IBF WBC champion at 147 is Mario Barrios. Virgil Ortiz would be a great one for him next year as well. Brian Norman was the one that they were talking about, but as of right now, they were a little bit off. The talk was that Norman was asking for 2.2 million, and Eddie Hearn said thanks but no thanks. 1.7 is as far as we go. It's a totally different world than the world of MMA. Like a Boots Ennis, Brian Norman level fight in MMA. No one's talking 1.7. No one's talking 2.2. As far as that level of talent, and he will eventually be a top 5 pound for pound fighter. But that just shows the difference. If you ask me, he didn't like that Eddie Hearn question, huh? He didn't like that one, comparing him.
Those fighting words.
Yeah. Well, why? I mean,
you got him back with the Knicks.
I mean, you got to be quick.
That was aggressive.
Why no comment to that?
He doesn't want to say anything bad about either Al or.
It's not bad. It's just different styles. I mean, the obvious answer is one guy speaks, one guy doesn't.
Yeah, I think
Al Heyman doesn't do interviews. He's never done an interview. So the easy answer there is, oh yeah, one guy's got a megaphone, and he eventually got there.
Yeah, you got him there.
But the no comment, I was like, dang. I was just trying to make conversation.
You got him back.
What do you want me to ask? How was training camp? How's the weight cut?
Chopping the wood. How's the wood?
We got to the wood.
That's fine. Don't fixate on it. It was good.
I fixate.
No fixating.
Was he in his car?
No, there was like a TV behind him.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which, I mean, you can relate, right?
No, I don't know what that's like. Anyway, thank you very much to him, and good luck on November 9th. Looking forward to that card. That is in Philly, a stone's throw away. Road trip, guys? Road trip? What do you think?
Yeah, you going to drive us?
You driving?
Well, a lot of people say that I'm not a good driver, so...
Nobody has ever said that.
Sorry, as long as we get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Remember the first time you had me in your car, and then for a week later, you're like, it smells like crayons in there. Do you remember that?
That was so weird.
And
it did smell
I felt
awful.
so attacked.
Yeah.
Like somehow that was my fault.
Wait, crayons smell awful? It smelled like crayons, but not good, like bad crayons?
Melted.
You like the smell of crayons?
I feel like they're fine. Like, I don't think of them as like a bad smell. I don't think of them as a good
That's
smell
because you
either.
get Crayola, like rose art melted. Ugh.
Oh, you're talking the low budget crayons.
Yeah.
Cheapo crayons.
Rose
Right.
art.
Rose art, shout out.
It was
Who
weird.
uses rose art? My
Look,
God.
When you
Frankie,
guys saw
tough
someone bring
times.
rose art to school, did you not like wince a little bit for them?
Yeah, I'm being serious.
Same here.
I'm laughing in the face of people who use rose art.
I don't even know what that is.
When I see an
It's
adult
just like an
wearing
Point
off-brand. It's
proven
an
right
off-brand
there.
brand of Crayola. Like
It's
Crayola's
Crayola or
the,
nothing?
the Kleenex, and then
Yeah.
there's the rose
it's the
art.
Temu version, yeah.
Timu.
Is that what we're on right now?
Oh, no,
Temu?
now it's Temu.
It used to be
No,
Wish.
it's
Used to be
Temu.
Great
There's a
Value
new
brand.
Temu called Temu.
Oh, got it.
You know what happened there? And I don't think it was related, but it literally did start to smell awful in the car. And then I took it to a mechanic, and he said that it was a buildup of leaves. First, he thought that there might have been a dead rat.
Oh, I thought
No
it was
joke.
going to be the dead Tamagotchi under the.
No.
It's like, this Tamagotchi is covered in poop.
But by the way, close, because he thought it was potentially a dead rat. Then it was a buildup of like wet leaves that was in the
Air filter.
under the hood or something that was
Yeah.
just giving off this awful smell. I ended up getting rid of the car. My lease was up, thank God.
You
Oh,
covered
wow.
it.
That was the least you
That's a
handed
good
back.
excuse.
Yeah.
It might be a dead rat. It might be a buildup of leaves.
Here, take
Is
it.
Mysterious Frank riding this car?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to sell this thing off. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Just tell him the
Its
lease was
resale
up.
value is completely gone.
The
Tell 'em the
dealer
least
gets
we
it. Oh, it's
It's like that episode of
like a dead
Seinfeld. You ever
rat.
see the BO episode of Seinfeld where the and I'm not suggesting this is
Wow,
what
this
happened.
is-
I'm not
Frank,
suggesting.
wow.
I'm
I'm
not
already into
suggesting.
I don't think this is a suggestion. I think this is an
Hey, Jor.
accusation.
HR.
It was the valet. The valet went in his car, and you guys ever see that episode?
No.
All right.
I've seen it.
Who
Are
is
you
the
saying
HR
that Frank
department at Uncrowned?
is
Just
responsible
the
for
Wave the Skunk one.
I don't know.
Smells like
it's
crayons in
Jordan.
here.
Earlier today, Aunt Evans gave me a bunch of questions from the super chats, but now I can't find them.
Oh no.
I saw them pop up. Does anyone have them?
Did you minimize the window?
No, Ant was keeping them, but maybe he can resend them.
No,
Also, you
he's-
didn't call him Antoine.
This is what I call him Ant when I'm upset.
Mm.
No, they popped up. I saw them. He must have deleted them.
Okay, maybe he's gonna relist
yeah.
them because he has more.
Okay, potentially. Yeah, let's get some of those super chat questions in. Thank you very much to all the guests. Again, very curious to see, what the status is of my Tamagotchi. I don't even know its name. Tomorrow, Boys in the Back, and the boys in the back will be dressed up. Can we reveal what the outfits are, or?
No way.
Okay.
Absolutely not, dude. What is this?
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know.
No.
What the fuck is that?
You gotta
Is
see it.
everyone dressing up? Like, is
people.
he dressing
That's a
up?
good question. We
is
don't know.
Frank dressing up?
Does PT know he's coming on the show tomorrow?
Does PT know he's coming on the show?
Well,
PT
See,
here right
can I
now.
just
No,
let's-
no, no.
let's just-
Let
let's
me
talk
start.
about
Let me
what's
start.
happened.
Look at that face.
No, let's talk.
No, let
Let's
me
talk
start.
what's happened.
Let me start. I just want to apologize to PT Carroll because there's been 2 weeks in a row where we said, PT, we'd really love to have you on. We think you're such a valued member of the team. We'd love to be able to promote the crack the day before.
Yeah.
And we had to end early both times, and so unfortunately, we had
that's not what
Alex.
happened. That is
We had Alex
that is
Pereira.
exactly
We had
what
Alex
happened.
Pereira, and then the next time we had to do lighting for the watch party, and unfortunately, PT got the bump. I've apologized profusely, and I've groveled and begged and said this will never happen again, and hopefully we can rectify that tomorrow.
Well, interestingly, you've left out the part where I actually have to text you on the day of both shows going, what time am I coming on at, Rick? And then you go, oh, sorry. And I'm like, it's 5-6, mate. You know what I mean? I'm here now. I'm ready.
While
And
we're
that's when I
airing
find out.
grievances,
Wow.
I don't
we
manage
go.
my own phone. My assistant did not pass along those messages, so I will lay down the law. The hammer will come.
That makes
Tomorrow,
it
the
so
trick
much
or treating
worse.
is going to be happening while this show is
Oh,
happening.
that's actually
tomorrow.
great. Let's just camp out on your front porch.
Yeah.
It's going to be fairly stressful.
Are you going to get dressed?
Is
Dress
Elaine
up?
trying to duck it again? You
No.
said she always ducks it.
I have had some comments, I was like, did you get in the stuff or am I going to have to do it again? No answer given. Just kind of like, So I think she's going to dip. Yeah.
Are you going to join the show or?
he doesn't know.
He hasn't been formally invited.
Oh,
This
So
is the third invitation.
He's waiting for somebody to actually tell him that we want him on.
is this the invite right here?
This is the invite. This is his
the
third
formal
invitation to the boys in the back. Meanwhile, me and Rick have received 0 invitations for.
Wow. I like this.
You've
It's all
already
coming
been-
out. This is great.
Rick, a
it's all coming
veteran
out.
of 2 crack appearances. Ariel about 8 or 9. GC, one yourself.
0. Yeah, 0.
I
One.
love this.
When was I on
One.
the crack?
On the post Vegas.
Thank you.
Oh, we're counting that when you shoved the phone in my face in the dressing room.
Wow.
That is what it's
that's
like
my
to be on
debut
the show.
crack.
That is what the show is.
That was the crack CRACK.
$1 million
When do I get to
studios,
come on
we
the
have
proper
not.
crack? CRIC.
Oh, I've gotten the
AIC.
super chats. Here we go.
CRAIC. Oh, we
All
got
right.
'em?
Just
Yes, here they are. Thank you, Antoine. Mark asks if memberships from MMA Fighting transfer to this channel, and our YouTube guru Ant thankfully jumped in and let me know that they don't. YouTube doesn't allow for that, even if we reached an agreement with MMA Fighting. So, commiserations. JBSJ says, in my opinion, Dillian White next for Francis sells better than Rico Verhoeven, can do MMA or boxing, trash talk history with Francis, more beatable than other big names, keeps Francis in the boxing combo. Don't hate it. You remember in the pandemic, Pete, they did a press conference where Eddie Hearn was going to host a press conference with the two of them. And then I think Dana sent him a message being like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was a thing.
Yeah. Dillian White's always the one people played around with because he had a kickboxing match in like 1992 or something.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, he's a multi-combat athlete. But I don't know, honestly. Is it better than Rico?
I mean, maybe in the UK, but I think Chisora might sell the fight more. Not that I want it, but he's enjoying a bit of a renaissance because he beat Joyce. I saw today IBF saying Dubois versus Wardley.
Fabio Wardley and Dubois.
If Dubois fights anyone not named the winner of Usyk Fury, it has to be Joseph Parker. That's the only other fight, and I definitely don't want to see the rematch with AJ just yet. Build up to that, but Wardley I don't think is quite there. I mean, he's more, I don't know, I don't want to say he's British level, but Dubois is well past Fabio Wardley.
You're gonna put him in there with the Round for Bull? Is that what you're trying to say?
Fuck, I love Johnny Fisher. He's the man. He's the freaking man. He's on that December 21st card too, against Dave Allen. But nah, Dubois Joseph Parker would be great.
Johnny, after he's gonna have to get to that British level soon. He needs some big tests and he'll be right in there. But I do agree with you. I think that is a bit of a jump for Wardley. But at the same time, does it have to be a massive name immediately after that fight? I don't know. I think you can continue to keep that burning without putting him in against one of the massive names in heavyweight. And I don't think that'll be the worst thing for him either. Obviously, I don't think he's had much of an amateur career compared to the rest of the guys. He's still building his name, building his brand. He's rivaling Arnold Allen for the most popular fighter from Ipswich, I'd say, at this stage. So maybe we need to keep the bellows on that fire.
This is from Yo Dude, I Love Me. I lived in Nottingham for 2 years for my master's degree. GC, you're a legend over there. How about that? GC, a legend in Nottingham.
Yeah, I thought it was just Manchester, but now we found out it is also Nottingham. Can't wait to get back to the UK, man. I'm itching at this point. 2025, UK, Ireland, and
how many times have you been to the UK?
Just the once, man. But I guess the word spread all the way from Manchester down to Nottingham.
What an impact!
Yeah, I mean, I hit like a meteor out of the sky.
Remember when PT was supposed to meet us and then bailed?
Dude, and then I was gonna go to Mulligan's East out there, the best Guinness in all of England, supposedly.
I went.
Yeah, and then you went without me. I was supposed to go Then I felt under the weather. I wasn't able to go. And then I tried to go again, and it was too packed. Yeah.
I was embraced like a long-lost son by that bar.
I really am. I'm going to force my way into Ireland, and I'm going to crash at Pete's house in 2025. It's going to be great.
I do have a hard-hitting question since we speak so much about facial hair. We are approaching November, which is, of course,
yes,
Movember time. Your beard, I mean, has never looked better.
Yep.
Are we shaving it off?
We are not. I can't.
Wow.
I cannot do that. I can't do that.
This is big. How many years have you been doing this?
Years and years. But
like, what are we talking? 10?
7?
Is it because we shaved the hair and you don't want
100%, 100%, dude? I can't be the bald dude with just the mustache. I can't do it. No offense to anyone out there rocking it. I'm sure they're killing it. I need a little bit more time to
goatee, maybe.
No, not
tough.
Goatee.
Oh, man.
All right, so I have to.
I'll do the tash.
I gotta, dude. You'll look great with a mustache. You will look.
I don't want. I mean, your beard is on point as well.
Yeah, I got to go to a wedding this weekend. I was gonna
rock
do
up with it.
Then I was gonna do the mustache. Nah. Just gotta keep the beard at least for this year.
All right.
I've never had a tash.
Oh, it's great, man. I adore it.
I'm thinking about it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Ninja Man, Fedor versus Brock, Anderson versus GSP, Anderson versus Jones, Jones versus Francis, and now Jones versus Tom. At what point do we say UFC can't make the biggest fights?
I've been saying it for years.
Have you?
A heavyweight, yeah, definitely. I've been saying it since Francis and Jones back in 2020 or whatever it was.
I think the hit rate's pretty high. I don't know if I would put that label on it.
I agree.
For heavyweight?
No, but
no,
I mean,
just in general. Like
Anderson GSP isn't heavyweight. Anderson Jones wasn't heavyweight.
The UFC, Dana White is pretty much spot on when he says that the UFC makes the biggest fights. There are examples of them not. And like you, Pete, I blame the UFC for Francis and John not happening. That is entirely in their court and on their hands. But the hit percentage is pretty high. They make the biggest fights.
I agree. I just think this heavyweight thing is really bad,
if it's these 5-6 examples, their percentage of hitting them compared to the whole sport of boxing is still
until Turkey came along. Now
I mean, but he's got 20 years ahead of him to catch up. But at heavyweight there have been, and a lot of these are a little bit more recent, so it does feel pronounced. But it's sort of like when people say like, "Oh, you have all these haters." Well, yeah, I mean, there's 5 notable ones, but then like, what about the thousands upon thousands upon thousands who love me? It's the same kind of thing, right? What about the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of fights that they made? The 5 that they didn't, not that big a deal, right?
Agreed.
Yeah. You see, put that on the board. Showing love. It's not all hate. Cole B asks, no judgment zone with this one. Who out of the crew is the most automotive inclined / most experienced? Tire changes, oil changes, etc. Is it Texas boy Frank? Certainly not me.
I was just about to say it's definitely.
I will volunteer. I mean, I am completely. I don't know how to change a tire. I don't know how to change oil. I don't know how to check oil. I barely know how to put in.
You know what a carburetor is?
I barely know how to pump gas.
Might be.
Oh yeah, living over in Jersey, I guess you never have to do it.
No one has. I mean, I don't have to do anything. I don't know how to put in the freaking.
Car starts smelling. Get a new one.
Is it Pizzi? Is he the dark horse? Is it Pizzi?
I could see Pizzi being a gearhead, getting nice and oiled up.
Do you enjoy seeing like a colored caliper on a brake pad, a brake disc?
No, I mean I could change. I could change oil. I can check oil. My dad's shown me how to change a tire about 80 times, but I still don't think I'd be. Right now, it's so easy though. You just take out YouTube and do it that way. No.
Wow. Nah. That's how you get killed.
Frank's actually the only one of us that doesn't have a car.
Wow.
Yeah, but I feel like back in the day in the old Texas days.
All right, real quick. How many of you can drive manual?
Yeah, I can't drive manual. I have a new dream car. It's the
Pizzi, real quick.
It's that bad boy that Chico's driving.
Absolutely. Ariel's seen it in action. I abused him for a few days.
Yeah, no, he's a great driver.
Can you drive standard transmission?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
I don't think he even knows what that means.
Yeah. I mean,
stick.
Yes, my whole family, my brothers, my dad, all pride themselves on manual. We refer to it as manual.
You didn't get the gene.
And Ariel cannot do that.
I just said, Wait, there's an option where you don't have to do all this stuff? Yeah, let me do that.
Do a bumper car?
Yeah, what? They're trying to tell me when I was a kid, they were like,
Frank seems
clutch.
to only be asking questions as opposed to like just taking this head on. Is it you, Frank? Can you just answer?
No, so here's the thing. Like, cars frighten me, but
so it's
I
not.
could confidently say I definitely know more about them than you guys do.
Okay, then there's your answer. Very vague, but Frank
How's that vague?
is accepting the.
You know what?
Have you ever been in a car with Ariel in rush hour New York traffic?
Yeah, and then he's like, dude, what is that smell? Get out of my car.
Yo,
why does it smell like crayon?
You know what's so crazy? My wife says that I'm a bad driver, and I say it's the complete opposite. I drive like a confident New York City taxi
you were
guy,
a gangster.
taxi guy. I'm like, get the fuck out of the way.
Talking shit. You were talking shit to people. It was wild.
Maybe it's Ariel.
Talking shit. We call that road rage.
No, it wasn't. It
What
was
are
like
these
it was a confidence.
This is him driving stick.
There was a confidence to it.
Yeah, there's a confidence. You cannot enter Manhattan and not have confidence. You just have to you gotta
He was
laisser les
lipping
bon
with the
temps
taxi
rouler.
drivers.
Yeah.
He was lipping with the taxis. Like, it was crazy.
I think there's a misconception that like taxi drivers are the good drivers. They're definitely the most frequent drivers. They definitely drive the most. I would not say they're good drivers. Like I feel like that's
There's
They
a
talk the
confidence
most
to
shit,
replicate.
man. Taxi drivers talk the most shit.
You don't want to
Everybody
get
knows
in their way. You just don't want to get in their way.
That is for sure. I've been hit by a taxi before.
For real.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Wow. Is that the time you totaled the car?
No. That's totally
my
separate.
God. Was it a green one or a yellow one that you got hit by?
Yellow, like a proper yellow cab.
You don't see those as much these days.
Nah, this is some years ago. This is maybe 7-8 years ago, actually.
Conor McGregor asks, what if BMF fights?
Sorry, can you run that back?
this is what he wrote. Or maybe it's Conor McGregor tweet replier is his name. What
No
if
problem, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. What if BMF fights did not risk rankings / contenderships and were billed as just badass matchups for the sake of great fights? You see, here's the problem with BMF now. It's like people are treating it too much like real titles. And Kamaru Usman on his great podcast, I'm a big fan of it, the one that he does with Henry Cejudo. He threw out this theory, if you will, that the BMF title was created because of him. And I saw initially people saying like, what? What the hell are you talking about? And initially when I saw the headline, I thought the same. But then when you actually listen to what he says, there is a case to be made because at the time he was the king of the welterweights, and the people who were fighting for the BMF title weren't in title contention just yet. And so if you can't be a champion there, you could create your own belt. And this has been the issue that I've always had with the BMF title. If I'm Islam Makhachev and you are touting Max Holloway as the baddest motherfucker on the planet, I'm like, yo, this is my weight class you won the fight in. I'm the baddest guy on the planet. I'm the baddest MFer at 155. That's what the belt should recognize. Like, that's what it should be establishing. Who is the baddest guy on the planet? Who is the baddest MFer? Not some like secondary division within the division. And so now you have a situation where the guy got knocked out, and then it's like, oh yeah, but no, he's still the BMF champ. Like, it should have ended with the Masvidal fight in MSG.
Yes. The genesis of it, though, is not the champion, right? It is Nate Diaz being like, yeah, you can have your championship. I'm actually the guy. But once they started from there, then having some kind of like, is it on the line? The lineage? Just became so convoluted.
It's the way it was.
Says you with the bell right behind you.
Yeah.
Biggest BMF supporter
Get that out
right now.
You love it.
trash out of him.
It was so amazing the way he beats Anthony Pettis, and he's like, yeah, and with this title now, I want to defend it against Masvidal. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And then they created it, and they made a whole thing with it, and they corporatized it, and then they made it
got out of his hands. It was
But even the one fight, okay, it was fine. But then the
Rock comes out.
Then they need it for Salt Lake City. And like, what are we doing here? And then it's a mess. It's a mess. Just retire it. End it. Olajuwon Dream, our good friend, one of our best. Love Olajuwon Dream. Shout out to him. He said the weekly members-only quiz was a trick question. It wasn't. GSP is the shortest reigning UFC champion ever at 33 days for his middleweight reign. There is a membership quiz that Antoine is doing. So if you're a member right now, you have access to these things. We're doing a lot of things for our members. The Knows-It-Alls, the Heel Wannabes, and give it to me. There's one more. The Helwani Nation or the Helwani Nation. You guys, yeah, the Helwanis. Yes, thank you, Jordan. Thank you. There they are. Yes, the Helwanibes, the Helwanis, and the Knows-It-Alls. Yeah, shout out. Chris Baki, love the show after this weekend's card. Opening fight. What's the biggest robbery the crew has seen?
Easy.
Patty Gordon?
No, hell
That's
no.
mine.
Not even close. Pearson versus Sanchez.
Diego Sanchez.
The worst possible robbery of all time. I can't think of worse in any facet.
I think it was at that fight. Was
a
that Europe?
travesty.
That Renat one was bad too. I don't know if it was the worst ever, but that one on Saturday was bad. I scored at 30-27 layout. When I heard 30-27, I was like, that has to be close.
Patty Gordon's up there.
Should go in the Hall of Fame because it was so bad.
Where was that fight?
I have no idea.
Is Patty Gordon up there?
No.
Wow, really?
What about, remember Maldonado and Fedor?
Maldonado and Fedor was really bad. There was another Sanchez. Was it the Pereira? Oh, no, that was the DQ one.
Baz Rutten and Kevin Randleman. The off-the-back elbows thing. Remember that?
That's
a throwback one.
Look at you.
I remember there was a bad Nick Lentz one. Was it like Andre Winter or something? There was
Oh, yeah.
Crazy
Oh, yeah.
But for me, Pearson and Sanchez is
the worst, yeah.
You put it on a tombstone. It's
Sanchez-Catman was a bad one, too.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, wow. Damn, Diego's been on. Diego's been in some weird ones.
Perhaps the worst one of all time, Michael Bisping, Matt Hamill?
No.
What?
Not the worst
one. That was the worst one ever.
No.
It was bad.
Serious?
It was bad, but no.
But you can make an argument. You can make an argument.
I encourage you, if you, it's been a minute, if you look at Pearson Sanchez, you're going to be, shocked that was real, what happened in that one.
Leonard Garcia, Nam Fan.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
That actually was a pretty...
And perhaps the worst one with the highest stakes attached, Lyoto Machida, Shogun Rua 1. Remember that?
I think if
in LA,
the highest
UFC 104?
Stakes, somebody will say, many people will say Dominic Reyes versus John Jones. Because that could have changed the course of history.
Yeah.
That is
We're not talking about John Jones and Stipe.
It's crazy what could have happened if Dominic... And think about what happened to Dominic Reyes after that, the fall, the decline.
Yep.
That one might have been the most impactful. Now, they were kind of close. I wouldn't say quote-unquote robbery, but in terms of which one went the wrong way, that would have had the biggest impact. That one's got to be up there.
Leonard Garcia, Chan Sung Jung?
Yeah.
Remember that one?
I do.
That was a bad one.
Leonard was winging him. That was the thing back then.
Randy Couture, Brandon Vera, UFC 105 in London. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
wow, this is what a walk down memory lane this is.
Yeah.
There was a lot of dirty boxing, if I can remember. It was just up against the fence for the whole thing. I think that was a failure to referee more so than the actual fight, because he just let Randy stall out Vera against the fence for so long.
Pearson Sanchez, though. I mean, it's
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Do you put Pendred Spencer up there?
Oh man.
Yeah, Pendred fucking won the fight. What? You're drunk on Joe Rogan's commentary that night. It was absolutely ridiculous. Pendred dominated the fucking whole fight.
What about GSP Johnny Hendricks? That's up there.
Oh, that's up there with the Jones. That's
Yeah.
up there with the Jones.
Is it crazy that I'm just pulling these out of my back pocket?
You're reading them off.
You're off of Google, right?
Wow, that is crazy. I freaking was front row for all these fights.
Sure, for sure.
I
Man.
think
Got that laptop right in
Wow.
front of you, Mr. Google.
Wow.
What about
Get you an
remember
internship down the road at the
Nick
Google,
Ring
man.
against Ricky Fukuda?
All right, stop it. Now stop it.
What? You don't think that's one of the biggest upsets?
Everyone
Stop it.
shit.
Oh my god.
What website are you on? I want to read.
Do you remember?
this.
Do you remember?
Where are you
Come
pulling
on,
this?
What website? I'll read.
No,
it.
Nothing.
How about boxing?
Nick Ring and Ricky Fukuda, get out of here.
Diego Sanchez Takanori Gomi?
Dude, why is
Stop
Diego Sanchez in every single one of these?
It's true.
You know caused a lot of uproar among my group of friends was Nick Diaz v. Carlos Condit.
I was just going to say
125.
125.
Yes,
I was just going to
125.
say.
Yeah.
I was literally just going to say UFC 143. I was there.
No, I was about to
You
say
were
something.
outlawed
I was
in
about to say
fantasy,
something
you
bad
know?
that was going to get me in trouble, so I'm glad I didn't.
KJ Noons, Ryan Couture?
All right, stop.
Here,
There's no way. There's no
question.
chance.
Next question.
Wow.
There's
Or no comment.
chance. You're pulling these. There's
Frank,
no chance.
Next question.
Can I add two? Can I add two to the rotation? Drop
Oh,
rotation.
God.
Which one?
Could we add Boots Ennis's no comment?
No, come on.
Good. That
Yes.
was good.
And could we add the what the fuck is going on, bro?
The Henry Cejudo breakdown.
Yes.
This guy's a fucking genius, yeah?
I mean, if you're gonna do that one, you might as well get the genius one too.
What about Nate Marquardt, Talis Ladies?
Stop.
What's the next
Let's move
question?
on.
All right,
You're just pulling ones that you don't even know if they were even
I
close or
legit
not.
remember all these fights.
Stop it.
Shooter McGavin asks Ariel if there's any more ONE FC fighters or ONE Championship fighters who are having contractual issues and could be signed by UFC. I mean, I was looking at Kade Ruotolo. I was like, man, this dude would be a freaking superstar in the UFC. What about Roberto
I'll be honest.
Soldic? What about that one, right? I mean, this guy was
The one who got away.
Jeez Louise. What happened to him? Where is he?
Training with Alexander
He's
Rakic
training with
before this
Rakic,
fight.
yeah.
That's about all we know.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many guys on their roster right now that I think the UFC would be banging the drum to get, right? I mean,
even
Cade would.
somebody like a Cade, it's almost better if he gets seasoning somewhere
Oh,
else.
100%.
I know we everything is like they have to have every prospect now. It's like they're on contenders. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing that Cade is like getting reps somewhere before.
Oh, 100%. No, this is perfect. This is perfect.
When's Darth Rigatone coming over to him?
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, those two guys are great. Those two guys have single-handedly. Those two guys and Craig Jones.
I was going to say Craig.
Single-handedly, yeah.
Craig in that convo. I mean, Gordon Ryan kept it afloat for a while, for a long time, but I definitely feel like the generation younger is taking the baton now.
Guys, we're rounding third here, but currently as we speak, there's a media day going on in Edmonton for the event this weekend, under the radar card, and the boys will be talking about it, and so will Pizzi throughout the week. Every day, 1 o'clock on the YouTube channel. They're doing media day right now, and I keep seeing these tweets on the timeline, so I asked On Air Jordan to fire up the clip for us. I have not seen the clip, and so I don't know if Derrick Lewis is being serious when he's throwing slander DC's way or not. I do not know, because you read it, you don't know if it's with a smile, you don't know if there's any sort of comedy behind it. So apparently Derrick Lewis is very upset at DC and says he wants to beat him up and says some bad words about him. And so let's all watch together for the first time and decipher whether or not the Black Beast is being serious.
DC. Proud of DC, man, because that one's still not sitting right with me, man. I don't know, man. Do people really like DC like that?
I don't know if DC will come back to fight.
Come on, man.
But like, what would you challenge?
I told DC in his face, man, that guy a piece of shit.
What?
He's a piece of shit. Scumbag, man.
For real?
Fuck DC.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit more? Why?
He know why.
DC knows why?
Yeah, DC know why. And everyone know why, too. He disrespect that Popeye's chicken. But other than that, he's a piece of shit.
Okay, so is he being serious? I can't tell.
Oh, that's tough.
I mean,
that's tough.
DC disrespected the Popeyes.
Now, you see, he brings the Popeyes, which makes me think maybe there's some.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't think he's joking.
No, he's joking. It's the Popeyes chicken. Come on.
Piece of shit, man.
It's Derrick Lewis.
Derrick
People
Lewis
throw around piece of shit now like it's like
Scumbag.
a nerd or
Can't be saying
something.
scumbag.
Piece of shit.
PT, you agree with me?
Yeah, Frank, you fucking piece of
Scumbag. Scumbag is the only one that like them's fighting words. Scumbag, you know.
You
I
think
think-
if DC
I think he's
heard
being
that
serious.
and
Those
saw
fighting
Derrick
words.
Lewis, he's gonna fight? No way.
Not that he's
No,
going to fight,
I
but
don't think DC's gonna fight. But I think
DC's
he
gonna
is
shoot for a
that-
takedown like he does
that's
with
what I'm talking
everybody
about.
he sees
I
in a
just-
No,
hotel.
no. But is he angry? We're
is
asking.
he
Is he
angry?
angry?
Yeah, I'm not saying. I
Is
think
Derrick angry? Nah, man. Derrick,
Yes.
I don't think Derrick gets angry.
my vote is yes.
No.
Nah, I don't think
It's
so.
the Popeyes chicken, man.
Of mixed feelings. The Popeyes line, that knocked me back into he's being friendly, but the scumbag piece of shit.
Yeah.
I told him to his face.
What do you think DC could have done to him that made him feel
Maybe he
that?
didn't like commentary. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Maybe
But he
didn't
says
show.
he knows what he did.
He
Yeah, he
knows
knows
what
what
he
he-
did, and then it's the Popeyes line. That, to me...
No, and he says other than that, he's still I don't know. I'm surprised by
I
this.
told him to his face. I told all of you the Popeyes thing. It was like I was
I don't
only
know.
talking
Is
about that.
DC on the call for Edmonton? Is he going to see him in the commentary thing?
I don't know. I sometimes I see these articles like Joe Rogan calling UFC 3. I'm like, yeah, of course, Joe Rogan. Why is this a news article? This is not a. This is a tweet. This is a tweet. But I guess it does well. You remember, Rick? You were there. Remember when early days of ESPN? It was right after Conor Khabib, so it was October of 2018. And remember, we were in the shitty ESPN studio before we had to move to Bristol, and DC called me and told me that they offered him Derrick Lewis for MSG in 3 weeks. Do you remember that?
I do.
and his back was fucked up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. His
back was fucked up,
and got it done.
And I mean, he got Derrick Lewis a huge payday in 3
I
weeks.
don't think there's a real beef.
I think there is. I mean, based on that, I feel like there is.
He knows what he did. It's the Popeyes.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything there.
All right.
Don't disrespect Popeyes around Derrick Lewis. DC knows better. Come on.
Top of the show, I shouted out Chuck Mindenhall's great story on the Rumble in the Jungle 50-year anniversary today, October 30th, 1974. Some breaking news for all of you. The most controversial rankings in combat sports today have just dropped. Our second pro wrestling pound-for-pound rankings. I saw this come through the wire right now. Penn Shamrock at it again, and I've actually not had a chance to digest these yet, so I want to do it with all of you as well. Yes, here it is. Cody Rhodes now number one. I say now, he was number one the first time around. Gunther has moved up a spot. He's now number 2. John Moxley down a spot, number 3. Dominic Mysterio up 7 spots to number 4. Solo Sikoa up 4 to number 5. Braun Breaker up 5 to number 6. Roman Reigns sitting at 7. The only one with no movement in addition to Cody Rhodes. LA Knight down 3 at number 8. Shelton Benjamin, no, it is not 2001, up 2 spots. He's enjoying a renaissance at AEW. And speaking of AEW, Ricochet up 1 to number 10. Now, you got to look at the fine print. Go to uncrowned.com and understand where we're coming from. It's who's hot right now as far as the pound-for-pound pro wrestling rankings. Never been done before, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of very nuanced and intelligent takes. And they all blame me for this, and I have nothing to do with it.
You're not voting on this one either?
No, nothing to do with it. Penn's cooking. Now, he also has
Penn is doing this solo, so
solo,
it's Penn's rankings.
These are his rankings, yes.
Man,
on behalf of all of us.
That Roman Reigns is only 7. Listen,
because of what he's doing right now.
I know. I'm not saying. Listen, I'm bowing. I'm bowing to Penn Shamrock. I will not pretend that I know.
I love this. It's a great idea. Whoever came up with it's fantastic. What about the women's rankings? Women's pound for pound?
Who did come up with it?
No, I don't know.
Was it you, Ariel?
No, I would never. I would never say.
It was
you. It was
look at that. No movement in the top 3.
Everyone, stop chatting shit.
Wow, Mercedes Moné stays at 3.
Yeah, Nia Jax at 2. Bianca Belair up 2 spots. Jade Cargill up 2 spots. Maria May down 1. Rhea Ripley down 3.
Oh my
wow.
God.
Anna Jay up 3. Naomi and Io Sky. Io Sky, wow, low. She might be the best one of the bunch. But there you have it. There you have it, guys. Any reaction to this?
Yeah.
Huge, isn't it?
There was a lot of activity back there. Wow.
Yeah,
A lot of chatter.
enough time left on the show to break these ones down.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, just wait for me to retweet it, and I'm sure a whole bunch of people will be.
I got to get on my burner and blast you online.
Yeah.
Does Penn Shamrock have a Penn Shamrock handle?
I'm telling you, man.
Take the heat.
People throw piece of shit around nowadays. Like it's like dork or nerd. Like everyone can
you
a piece of shit.
Ariel, can you
So
just
that's what
ask
Derrick
DC?
Lewis is
I
doing.
need to know.
Yeah, he's just like that's my
I need
buddy,
a
man. That's my
resolution.
pal. This guy's a fucking piece of shit.
You want me to call DC right
I
now?
want you to just find out.
Do it.
Because now you've suggested this, and now I can't stop
Yeah,
thinking
maybe just
about
shoot
it.
him a text or something.
I'm going to call him. I'm going to ask him.
Hi.
Call or
Doing it on the air?
But do you think that's tough?
That's tough.
It's tough. I don't know if that one was live or not.
Are you texting or calling?
Talk's true here, will you?
We are talking. Oh, okay. So okay. Oh wow, look at this. Well, this.
Text cam.
Yeah, the text cam. I love it.
Can we zoom in there on the screen? He's not giving us a lot.
By the way, that angle, you could see my phone almost.
That's
no,
what we wanted.
not even remotely true.
Okay.
Literally.
Now the window reflection of your phone.
Not even.
Look at the color on that window right now.
It's crazy. Okay, here we go.
Indigo
Everyone be
sky.
quiet. Everyone be quiet.
Oh, this would be embarrassing now.
Yo, DC, we're live on the air. Don't say anything that will get either of us in trouble, but we're talking about you right now.
Okay.
No, okay, so I'm doing the show, and by the way, this is, I guess, your official debut on my new show. Thank you so much for doing this. It really means a lot.
Congratulations. Did you get the video I sent you?
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, actually, I sent a text.
So don't do that.
I sent a text to everyone thanking them. You wrote me back 2 weeks later. NBD. We don't have to deal with this now.
What's up, dog?
DC, we're about to wrap up the show, and all of a sudden I'm on Twitter, and I see this clip of Derrick Lewis talking about you. Have you seen this clip?
No, I haven't.
I can't decide if he's mad at you or not. And I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but he's saying all these things, and we weren't sure if it's a joke or if it's a shoot. Is he working or is he...
I don't know, because I haven't seen him for a while, but I was pretty hard on him about retiring because he had lost a couple fights, and I was kind of telling the truth, and he seemed mad at me, but I haven't seen him. But I'm going to see him this weekend, and I'm going to kind of ask him, like, yo, are you mad at me?
Can I tell you what he said?
Yeah, tell me.
He says, you know what you did. I hate to be, it's not my words. You know, I love you like a brother. He called you a piece of shit and a scumbag. But then he mentioned the Popeye's chicken thing, and then we're like, oh, is he joking? But then he's like, but besides that, he knows what he did. And three of us think that he's joking. I think there's some truth there.
There's a little underlying, maybe. It sounds like it might be a little underlying. He might be a little pissed at me, maybe, because of the way I talked about him. I don't know what fight it was where he didn't look great. But then he knocked the last guy out, and I was like, well, I'm glad he's back. So, I don't know. It kind of, my opinions go with their performances, and I think maybe that's what it is. But in terms of anything else, Derrick and I don't really have much, many things that we do together outside of just the Popeyes thing and in our fight. But it's like we can't be mad at each other. Like, we already fought. It's like, it's settled.
I said that he should be forever grateful to you. You gave him a shot, 3 weeks notice, Madison Square Garden, world title fight, his biggest payday. He should be thanking you from now until eternity.
He's making big money now, constantly. We kind of put him in an area, and he's staying there, and I'm happy for him.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, though. I really don't know what it is. I'm going to watch. I need to see his face. I need to see if he's laughing. I need to see if he's joking. I need to see how he looks to see if he's really mad at me.
Yeah.
But when I see him this weekend, I'll walk right up to him and go, hey, what's going on?
Of course. You're going to do a sit down for your YouTube channel with him?
No, I'm not.
Oh, why not?
I'm not bringing any YouTube. Hey, the DC check-in
Yes.
is exclusive to pay-per-views.
Oh.
It's exclusive to pay-per-views and at the biggest moments with the biggest names.
Wow.
You earn your right to sit next to me on the DC check-in.
Oh, okay.
That's how it goes.
Wow.
I want to do a DC check-in with Ariel Helwani.
Oh, yeah, backstage? Backstage?
You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, you always have me on. Why can't you support my stuff?
You've never asked me once.
One-way friendship.
You've never asked me once.
It's a one-way friendship.
This is crazy. You've literally never asked me once. I would run to Edmonton to be a part of this.
I would love to do a DC check-in with Ariel Helwani.
Wow, this is crazy. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for this. By the way, not nice what you did to Ilya. I mean, the guy's having the greatest moment of his life, and you have to rub it in that it's 2-0.
The man. Hey, Ilya's the man. Ilya's the man. But as he said when we sat down, he goes, I know you're great friends with Max Holloway, DC. I just watched my great friend get knocked out. I had to give him something. I can't just let, you know what I'm saying? He looked at me and he goes, really? I go, oh, yeah, baby. But he started laughing. It was all in fun. You know, I like to have fun, man. Hey, but did you see my suit?
Oh, you look fantastic. You look fantastic.
Hey, I said, Steve Harvey, they said Steve Harvey going to be there. I told Mark Russell, my tailor, I said, give me something Steve Harvey would wear. Steve goes, DC, it look good, boy. That's a bad suit, boy. Made my day, Ariel.
You look fantastic. You look fantastic. By the way, happy Mother-in-Law Day to you. It's a great time to celebrate for everyone. So, yeah, no, please call your mother-in-law and let her know that you care about her and are thinking of her.
You're so crazy.
I miss you, DC. I love you. Thank you for doing this impromptu. Enjoy Edmonton, one of the great arenas in the world, by the way. I know you've been there a couple times.
30 degrees. 30 degrees is the temperature.
Celsius. Celsius.
It's freezing there, right? Freezing.
Oh, no. 30 degrees Celsius is beautiful. It's like 90 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wait, it's 90 degrees in Edmonton?
Wait, 30 degrees.
Cold.
Wait. Did you look at the wrong Edmonton weather?
Oh, my
God.
Look at the wrong weather.
No, it's pretty cold. It's pretty cold. No, it is going to be. Oh, it's going to be -1. It's going to be -2. Which, yeah. You looked at the right.
It's freezing.
Yeah, it's freezing.
Look at the right one. But guess what, though? Guess what? Really quick.
Yeah.
Hey, I still can wear one of my golf jackets. What
does that mean?
That's how good my product is. So I don't even need to get an overcoat. I've got a jacket that I wear on the golf course that I can wear in that cold weather.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Is it your own?
No. It's Anderson Ord, my greatest sponsor.
Oh, they sponsor you. I'm sorry.
Yes, they do. This dude's shameless. This dude is shameless.
Oh my God.
This guy is shameless. You're the man, Ariel.
Much love.
All right, bro.
Safe travels.
All right, bro. I'll talk to
Stay
you
safe.
later, brother.
There he
Bye-bye.
is. The great Daniel Cormier. All right. Well, sounds
All
like
right.
something there.
Now we got to call Derrick.
Okay, Derrick. No, Derrick is a little hard to get these days. I actually don't have his number because remember he kept changing it.
He would always change the number.
And then I
every week.
At some point I got cut off. Like it was like
you were in the loop on the number changes to a certain level, and then it was like
if you go through his things, in my contacts there's like 9 Derrick Lewises. Because
I remember last time he came on, he was just like, you said something about having him on again. He's like, nah, I'm getting ready to change the number.
Yeah, and then that was it.
You're going to make the cut.
Yes, and that was it. I didn't make the cut. I don't know. I think there's something there. What do you guys think?
I think DC's going to see him. He's going to shoot for the takedown, and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right.
God, I miss DC. I mean, do you think we could get a DC and Helwani revival here?
I think what we have to do is DC checks in with Ariel Helwani.
Oh, that'd be great.
At whatever next event we're in town for, you're going to have to make it happen.
He said only the biggest of the biggest.
Yeah, I guess it's only the
qualifies.
pay-per-views, too. So we're going to have to go that show in the UK in March.
Is that the one? I mean, we could go to the Intuit Dome. The Intuit Dome.
You're talking, Pizzi. You are talking. Where's the Intuit Dome?
Cali,
oh,
that's
January.
That's with the wall with
down. Never
Steve
been
Ballmer.
down.
Where's the Intuit Dome? It's the stupidest name for
Los
an arena I've
California.
ever heard in my life.
No, shout out to Intuit,
company's
man.
called
QuickBooks,
What is Intuit?
TurboTax.
Quicken.
It's a
Hunter's been on
financial
that
system.
on that a lot.
Yeah, man. I'm about to start a finance show over at Yahoo Finance.
We're about to go to the Yahoo Finance
Okay.
video real quick.
Okay.
Just a couple more here. Nate fought a bear. Ariel, new era, new you. Time to get the Josh Allen interview. Go Bills, squish the fish. Man, I'd love nothing more. Do you see him at the Yankees game yesterday with that beautiful salad? Do you see that on top of his head? Is it called a salad or lettuce? Fuck, it's time to go. Yeah, why'd I call it a salad? God.
See that salad on his
Salad. I thought he was actually eating a salad the way you're going to. Did you see him with that beautiful salad? I was like, all right.
Fuck. I thought someone was going to say something like, why are you thinking about... No.
Are you all right, man?
What are you thinking about what?
You know what I'm going to say,
Salad?
PT?
I know what you're going to say.
over my head.
Jordan, hey, Ariel, do you think you'll have Colby back on the show? Miss your interviews together. They were always so fun. Perhaps after my revelation last week, we'll be friends again? What do you guys think?
I mean, the chances might be higher.
Yeah. What is it? YMCA.
You know, you represent all of us when you're in there, right?
It's becoming a problem. What time does our
birds are going crazy?
What time does our election watch party start?
When's the election tonight?
Why don't we just PT? But I was just thinking, why don't we start now and just go 24 hours around the clock until we hit it?
Wednesday in October, election night in America.
Matthew,
when is election night?
November 5th.
Yeah, first Tuesday of November.
So it's
next Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh wow, jeez.
Yeah.
Like literally in 6 days.
Yeah, they keep making announcements on the train. They're like, the trains will run on a different schedule, yada, yada, yada. Expect...
Did you tell him your friend Ariel's not voting?
That's what I said, yeah. This guy begged to be a citizen.
Yeah.
He said, please, I need
Literally.
to vote. I need to have my say. And then in first time up, he said, thanks, but no thanks.
The American way.
Chino wants to know if GC got Netflix in the new pad yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. I got to get that one. Got to get that installed. Get the technician out there.
To get Netflix?
What are we talking
about? Working on it.
Working through the kinks. Thumbs up to the chat, by the way. Thumbs up to the chat. Matthew wants to know, there was a great moment of banter about a year ago when you bought an espresso machine but didn't have the skills to make a quality brew. Have you since figured it out? Have I? Have I since figured it out? There are people who ring my doorbell in the neighborhood for a cup of my coffee. It's that renowned.
Did you get the vacuum canister?
Oh, do I have a vacuum canister? I figured it all out. I've got it all. I've got multiple. I'm from Guatemala. I'm from Costa Rica. I'm from Brazil.
What's your favorite?
Depends on my mood, you know. No Venezuelan.
You have a little stamper for the espresso. You call it pulling a shot.
Oh, that thing where you go like this?
Yep.
No. I just put it in and it does it for me.
All right. So, wow. I
Yeah.
can see.
Oh,
you
I don't have
probably
one
an
of these.
automatic car as well, too, right?
I'm learning now that Frank's default is like just kind of grill. It's
Yeah.
like, what about this? Well, what about this?
Oh,
What
you
about
just
this?
learned that. You know me
he's
for years, and you're
peppering. He's just peppering. So Frank is number one mechanic and number one barista. We've discovered.
Do you have one of those, Frank?
Absolutely.
Wow.
I'm shy because I need to upgrade my coffee situation in the gaff.
You
I
drink
end up
coffee,
just leaving
PT.
Yeah,
Struck
I
me
have
more
to,
of a tea
watch all
guy
that
for some
American
reason.
football. Hate tea.
Hate
Hate
tea?
Hate tea, yeah.
Peppermint?
Peppermint.
Like, see, Elaine's family are like the tea drinking family. You go to their house, you're there for 17 hours. You have 87 cups of tea. I just can't do it.
What kind of tea
Did you
was it?
not give me a warm Guinness and say this tea will wake you right up, Frank?
That's a different kind of tea.
All
you know
right.
what I mean?
Warm
a
Guinness?
different thing altogether.
A warm Guinness. He just
I'll
had
take
in
it whatever
Vegas.
way it comes,
Wow.
GC. You know what I'm
A
saying?
little bit of Yorkshire Gold? That's what I go with.
What's Yorkshire Gold?
Wow.
Last one. Hello. I'm loving the new lineup of shows. It has an Ariel 100 and an Ariel 101 vibe. Do you guys get the reference?
No.
I don't.
Any chance we'll see an intern on the show?
Are those the
Superfan?
Stern channels? Like
Yeah. Hello is a Stern
Yeah.
reference. Superfan Roundtable wrap-up show. Bye for now. We're working on an intern, right?
No.
No. All
Not
right.
yet.
I've heard rumblings of an intern.
Yeah. No.
No, not true.
We're working on
Not
it.
true.
We're working on
Probably
it.
time
Can
it
we
was
get a
raised, it
music
was
library
probably
first?
not.
Who would we nominate for a Superfan Roundtable?
Olajuwon Dream.
Yeah.
OSI.
OC? You
No.
mean?
Yeah,
Jeez.
I guess so.
I mean,
He's so used to KSI. He's thinking it's
Olajuwon Dream,
Aaron.
Lewis, moderator Lewis,
Moderator Lewis.
Alex
And
Weber,
this guy I keep seeing.
Alex Weber,
What's his
That
name?
ledge guy.
Andrew Feldman. Andrew Feldman.
Oh, Feldman. Jedi
Jedi
Goodman? Do we get Jedi Goodman?
No.
Yeah.
What about
What?
Billy Baloney,
How
who I just
not?
became acquainted with?
Yes. Shout out Bill Steinmetz, the legend,
Oh,
the absolute
Steinmetz, yes.
Legend.
salt of the earth.
My most,
I don't know if he would do it. He's a little bit shy in terms of that part, but he's such a
Oh yeah, I gotta hang on my.
My most desired interview of 2025 is a 3-person interview with myself moderating, Jedi Goodman, and Kaposa.
the internet unmasked,
Yes,
basically.
yes.
MMA Twitter unmasked. Good luck with that. I mean, I'd watch the hell out of it.
The post has never shown his face, though, right?
No, we don't know
Neither
what
has
he looks
Jedi.
like.
I think Rick's met him. No,
I have not. I've tried many times, not from like the curiosity standpoint, more just like I worked in kickboxing and he was a huge kickboxing fan, and it was a great era for it. But we never could make it happen. But I have no idea what he looks like.
man. I missed your message. You sent me a zinger to ask DC about Buckley. Huh?
Good.
Man, I missed that. Damn.
Call
Shout
him back.
out to A, who gifted us 50 more memberships. Wow.
Hey,
He's now
wow,
giving
he
out
is like giving them
250.
Santa over here.
Wow, and maybe even 300 because he just did another 50. And Jason Carney gifted memberships too. I mean, what a community we have here, guys. Right?
The best.
What a
What time to
community.
be alive?
I got to get ready for my trick or treating. I got to get my candy bars ready.
tomorrow?
Bullshit.
No, I got to get them all. I like to line them up.
There is no chance that you're doing any of this. I guarantee Jacqueline is.
Do you want to bet? I'm
I
going to
want to
send
see
you
the video.
I'm going to send you a picture of the front of my house.
Who did it though?
Me and Claire. We did it all.
So Claire
I'm
did it.
skeptical, but I'll say
believe
I
that for a
believe you.
second.
I'm actually a lot more festive than you think.
As Rick would say,
I'd bet
I'm
my
dubious.
house
I'm
on you
dubious.
not doing that. I'd bet my own house on that. that you
I
didn't do
even
that.
bought all the candy.
No, but I believe,
that.
I don't believe that you decorated your house. That is
Who brought the
absolute
candy to the
BS.
house? The delivery guy, the Instacart guy?
No.
That's not important.
We like to use Fresh Direct.
Fresh Direct.
Yes.
Yeah, that would make
Sneaking
sense.
some
Shout
Halloween
out.
candy this week. Thanks.
Oh yeah, we got a couple of Reese's. We got a couple of Snickers.
Reese's.
This is a good segue preview tomorrow. Pound for pound rankings for tomorrow on Boys in the Back. Halloween candy.
Wow.
It's gonna get contentious.
It's gonna get hot. If,
It was
if
way
doesn't go the way
way
I
more
think it
difficult than
goes.
I expected it.
How many? 10 or 5?
Five. I could have
five.
gone 10 deep easy.
Why not 10?
It feels like a lot on a graphic and.
By the way, you say you could have gone 10 deep. The show is in 24 hours. What's stopping you from? I want 10. I think 5.
No.
I think 5's a cop out.
We've already locked in on the 5.
I think. Wait, you're a part of this too, Frank.
Wait, have you been watching Boys in the Bag? Or you've just been judging.
5.
5.
You missed a debacle last week. Yeah. Tune in tomorrow. Candy list, pound for pound.
Actually, when we did discuss how many we were going to do, I was just like, I think we should have the option to go 10. I could easily go 10 on Halloween candy. And yeah.
Can I make a request?
Yes.
Could we get
Your top 5 requests?
Top 5 best and top 5 worst.
Oh, we'll definitely get some worst.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Because I think there's some interesting takes that can. I mean, the candy corn that I've been
let's
staring
just make
at.
all the new graphics and everything. That'll be fun.
No, just make a new one.
Yeah, Frank, the graphics guy.
Wow.
There. Thanks,
30
Frank.
seconds,
You just take care of that for me, man.
Top 5 worst, like
best and worst is just changing one word. It all depends if we have the top 5.
The bandwidth.
There's a chance one of my top 5 best ends up on somebody else's.
Oh, that's what I mean.
That's a teaser.
I think that's where it becomes. I think that's where it becomes very interesting. Because one man might have Bounty as number 1, and the other man might have Bounty as.
Who would have
How about
Bounty as
shampoo
number 1?
and
What
conditioner?
the fuck is wrong with that person?
You don't know about Bounty?
We know Bounty.
Bounty is
I don't know
disgusting.
It's like an off-brand almond joy without the almond.
Oh, you guys don't know Bounty?
It's chocolate
Almond
and
joy
coconut.
is
Bounty's
disgusting
disgusting.
on
The
its own.
coconut,
Ariel.
disgusting.
Yes,
What's
Pete.
better?
Thank you, my brother.
Shampoo
Agree.
or
Disgusting.
conditioner?
Mounds and Almond Joy can die in a fire.
Shampoo is better. I leave your hair silky and smooth. Is that what you were?
That's what I
Conditioner is better.
Oh, really?
Stop staring at me, Swan. Or stop looking at me, Swan. Gentlemen, it is
That's
time to
why he's
go.
seen no other
Yes.
villain.
Billy Madison reference for the
Watched
uninformed.
know?
10,000 times, clearly. And no other film. You're
Look
just like, this
at
is it.
Connor. He's already checked out. I said it's time to go. He's completely out of frame.
God, man, I got work to do back here.
He's like, his face is covered.
Look, here's the official end of the show.
This is it.
Where is it? God.
Say goodbye.
See ya, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow.
Keep going.
I'm trying. This is as low as we go.
Yeah,
Back tomorrow. Boys in the Back, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Halloween edition.
Can't wait. Costume edition. It's like, this is more anticipated than The Simpsons Halloween edition.
I'm going to watch some Treehouse of Horror tonight.
The weird thing is, they are all accessible to us, and I never watch them. I don't know why. They don't hit the same.
I love them.
They don't hit the same when you're 42 as opposed to 12, you know?
When you're 31, they still hit.
No comment. When's the last time we got a no comment on the show?
It really bugged you, huh?
I think he no commented you twice. I think he did it to you twice.
It was such a benign question, too. No comment on what's the difference. I didn't even say. By the way, if I would have said who's better, then I could understand a no comment.
Shampoo or conditioner?
Yeah.
Nah, I say, okay, who's better? I say, who's better, Eddie or Al? No comment. I don't want to be a part of this.
No comment. Let's keep it moving.
I just said, what's the difference?
You know?
He only responded to you getting very aggressive about basketball.
That's
that was
what
the
he
only
is.
real. Yeah.
It's like, I didn't say, like, what's the deal with Ovaltine, you know?
It was like Mayweather changing his style as he fought McGregor, you know what I mean? Came out
I had
slick,
to,
then
yeah.
he turns into the Mexican.
I had to switch hit him. Like my guy, Bud Crawford, you know?
Brud.
What's that?
No comment.
Brud Crawford.
Did I say Brud Crawford? I'm tired. I'm tired. Thank you to all our guests. It's been a great day. It's been a great show. It's been a great 3 shows. Tomorrow, Boys in the Back. Same time and place. Until then, we say peace. I'm out of here.